Hello and welcome to another episode of Tetrad TV. That's right, we've got an awesome episode here tonight for you guys for nostalgia's sake. We're going to be talking about all the things that we loved as kids, video games, movies, TV, and more. And we finally, once again, have the full Tetrad here tonight. That's right, we missed Raccoon last week, we missed Pen the week before, but the Tetrad, the riders of the Nerdpocalypse, are back. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, Clink. Not as excited as you, though. Jesus Christ, I love the energy today.
I love this show. Like, what would I do without this podcast? Probably just sit here and play more video games, let's be honest.
Sounds like that.
Pen, what'd you do this week? How have you been?
Yeah, so this week, finally back to full schedule on my own personal Twitch channel, and I've also spent a lot of time playing. So we've been talking for weeks now about all these games that have been coming out. I've been getting to them. It's games like Deep Rock Galactic, Hard Space Shipbreakers. They're jumping into those really hardcore. Oh my gosh, I was just telling you in the production meeting here, guys. Like I was playing Hard Space Shipbreakers. It was like 12:30 in the middle of the night. I'm going to go to bed in an hour. Then we do another quick little run, salvage the ship. I look over at the clock. It's 5 a.m. Like, I don't know what happened in that time. I just got sucked into this game. So that's how kind of my week went. How'd your week go, Raccoon?
Oh, my week has been all over the place, but good. I did a little bit of streaming this week, a little bit, I think, Destiny, and we did some Elite Dangerous, a lot of Elite Dangerous and some drawing. Just, normal chill times. I'm going to be trying to do a little bit more this coming week as well. And then I had an awesome time joining you that last Saturday for that Warframe run, which
Oh, yeah, we did that Warframe run. Well, 3 hours, 20 minutes, I think, in the Kuva Survival that we did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a run.
Oh, yeah.
It's because we lost our Cora.
Oh,
Yeah, we lost our Cora. His Xbox died, so we lost our Cora.
Yep.
We could have done it longer.
Grenada, what have you been doing this week?
One thing.
Being
upset that Destiny pushed back its update, which by far doesn't bother me at all because that means I get to play the one thing I'm so fucking enthralled with, and it's the Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima
is amazing. It's if you can get past the first half hour of the game and get past like all the random cutscenes, but the cutscenes were good, don't get me wrong, because it's kind of giving you a backstory of what's going on, but I just wanted to dive into the game and play it. And man, when I got into it, it was fucking awesome.
So I think we have some clips from that here in a little bit that when we're gonna really dive into that game here in a bit, and we've got some great clips.
I'm excited because I know nothing about it except for where it came from.
How has your kid been this week, Grenade? The little tank.
So funny story. And I was actually telling that happened yesterday. We were sitting there, right? Danielle and I were doing some spring cleaning yesterday, and we see our kid like trying to move around, stuff like that, trying to get out of his cage. He keeps putting his foot over the side of the pig pen, which the pig pen is where we keep him. I mean, it's just like, it's a huge area. I'll put a picture in the Discord tonight of what our pig pen is. And it's this huge area. Like any kid would be happy to have it. So he's putting his leg over, right? And he pulls it back, and he doesn't know we're watching him. Puts his leg back over, and he pulls it back. And I look at Danielle. I was like, look, he's going to get out. He's going to climb out. She looks at me. She's like, yeah, I don't think he's going to climb out. And he sees both of us and literally just barges through the side of it. And we're like, he got out.
He got out.
It's not like we wanted it to.
Man, see, I thought that story was going to Rugrats direction, and Tommy was going to pull a screwdriver out of his diaper, but
But you know what? Honestly, like, this is me getting a little sentimental. Like, I love watching my kid, like the things that he does. Like the other day I saw him pick up, like, okay, so our dog, like he's a big dog. So wrestling him when he gets out it's a chore. And one time I was trying to wrestle him because he chewed through his collar. So I was like literally bear hugging him and trying to carry him through. And he's a 175-pound dog that you're fighting, right? I hit the door put a hole in the side of the drywall behind the door. My kid walks up, picks up the drywall. I said, don't eat it, kid. Picks up and puts it right back into the drywall spot. Like, this kid's a genius. Like, we give him a cup, he runs up to the fridge and he hits the water button, it pours in. Like, he's mechanically smart like his dad, which makes me so fucking happy.
So are you wearing a Rockin' Cat shirt?
I am wearing a Rockin' Cat shirt for sure.
Nice.
I figured I'd support him today.
Nice. I've got.
What
I have
about
a
you,
cat.
Clink?
I have a cat shirt as well, but mine's a space cat.
It's a Space Kitty. What happened on your channel, Clink? What's going on with you this week?
I've been playing Death Stranding on PC now that it's finally out on PC. I like 100% of the game except for like one achievement on PS4, and I've been having such a great time. I'll dive into it a little bit later. I've got some footage and clips to play for you guys as well.
Nope.
All that I have to say though is that it is beautiful on PC. I mean the DLSS like RTX AI thing that Nvidia did for it just made
can I-
the game beautiful.
Can I cut you off for one quick second, Clink?
Yeah, sure.
So Rock and I, we were in there. Clink decides to stream to the server
I'll
that
play
we
the
were
clip
in. And okay, we were in our server, right? And me and Rock were making fun of this game, bagging on it, right? And he talked about how it was going. And Rock and I are like, holy shit, like, is that real footage or is that like in-game made footage with like polygons and everything like that? And then we turn around and we asked Clink. He's like, dude, I can't tell. So like I'm sitting there next to my computer. I pull my
This
monitor
is the
close to
footage
me.
that's playing right now, by the way,
Yeah,
that you guys
it's
are
a-
saying that about.
We looked it up. This is all computer generated. This isn't scenes that they took pictures of. And it like at that point in time, me and Rock were sitting there going, holy crap. Like it's a mind fuck for sure. And I'm sorry I took over. I just wanted to put that out
No.
there that
I mean,
it's
I
beautiful.
captured this section specifically so you could talk about that. And
like we were blown away, man. And this right here, actually, I wanted nothing to do with the game. I ended up tuning in to Spence's channel and watching him play it. And now I'm at the point now, the second I get myself a better graphics card, I'm buying it to play it. Because like the game itself is like this with the RTX and like what Clink is running this on. And it's fucking crazy. Like this to me, it blows my mind. I don't know why. It just blows my mind with how tricky that is on your eyes. Like my brain was fighting itself last night or when he was doing this.
How is this possible?
Yeah, exactly. Like and honestly, streaming it to Twitch right now, I'm looking at it, does not do it justice. Like I wish you could see it in the server that's boosted because like it was I was baffled, man. I was baffled. Like if companies put this type of crap into like the movies and stuff like that, we won't be able to tell what's CGI and what's not soon. Because we couldn't tell here.
I've been having a lot of fun. So in the game, I'll talk about this later. Whatever. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
And how much fun I've been
sorry.
having. So Death Stranding, make sure you pick it up. It's awesome on PC. It's awesome on PS4 too, but just the graphics.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, man. I had to
That's
talk
all
about
right.
how my brain was messed
That's
up.
all I've been doing all week is playing that. So anyway. Nerd. I'm a nerd. What can I say? So let's get into the weekly news roundup. Let's start this off with the big thing happening this week in the pop culture and nerddom, which is Comic-Con is this week, Wednesday through Sunday, and it's all online. So normally, San Diego Comic-Con, everybody goes down to San Diego and there's interviews and previews and announcements and trailers. All that's happening online for Comic-Con 2020. So stay tuned this week. I'm interested to see some of the announcements that are made with the Marvel Universe, with DC Universe, with all the sci-fi movies and TV shows, and of course, Comic-Con. It's all about comics, so bringing some of these comic books to life on either the TV screen or the movie screen. So we'll see what some of these announcements are. I don't know.
I'm excited too, Clink, because like some of it for me with this is dates. Right, because we had this whole Marvel roadmap, and we knew what was going to happen with Phase 4 of those movies in the MCU, that kind of stuff. But now it's like, what's going to get pushed? What's been happening with development? How has it changed? How people can work together based on what studios are open and what aren't due to COVID and all this stuff. So I think hopefully Comic-Con can help us sort us out a little bit and just give us a little bit more clear idea. Because right now it's just kind of like, when are things going to come out again?
I just posted the souvenir book, the 2020 souvenir book that you can actually download on a PDF in the chat there. So if you want to grab it up, go ahead. I'll also post it into the Touchred server and my server as well.
So check it out. Comic-Con this week, streaming on, I assume, YouTube and Twitch. And you can check out the schedule on comic-con.org. So the full schedule is on there. Let's dive into video games this week. We got a We got a few video games coming out. We talked about it, I think, last week with the Devolverland Expo, but Carry On is coming out not tomorrow, the 23rd. That's right, the 23rd on Switch, Xbox One, and PC. It's a Devolver game where you play as the monster in a 2D side-scroller. It looks pretty freaking awesome.
Looks fun, yeah.
Yeah, it to me, the idea, like the pixelization, everything, like kind of goes back to when we were younger, and the whole idea of playing the villain always intrigues me. But you're not playing the villain. Has anybody seen the movie The Thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So it reminds me of you get to run around acting like you're the Thing, because that's what that thing really looks like. It reminds me to at the end of the movie when it's got all the eyeballs and everything.
All the eyeballs, yeah.
Yeah, it's right now you can get the beta for it. I haven't downloaded or played it yet because I've been on the Ghost of Tsushima, but it's on Steam, and I know that I think you can get it, possibly the beta for it, on the Xbox Game Pass as well. I remember my buddy Chuck was saying something about that, but the only one I'm 100% sure of is you can get the beta for it, the demo, on Steam, and I will always wear pants.
Coming out also in video games is Crysis Remastered, coming to Switch, the OG Crysis game on a Switch console, which is interesting because Switch isn't that well known for its graphics. I wonder how Crysis
is going to handle Crysis.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So
it's going to crash your Switch every 2 seconds. You start it up, crash.
Or it's going to be a remaster.
Yeah,
some further cutting corners, you know.
We've talked in previous episodes how I feel about remasters. Anyway, we'll see how we'll see how the Switch handles it. Let's see, a rogue-like game, Rogue Legacy 2, coming out on PC only. This is a follow-up to Rogue Legacy, a side-scroller action platformer. And every time you die in it, your next playthrough is your child in the game, right? So your child succeeds you, and they might have like a broken limb, or there's conditions that go along with that. So Rogue Legacy 2 coming out on the 23rd. All these games are basically the 23rd. Geez, Rookie, inspired by Scandinavian folklore, beautiful side scroller with a unique art style, comes out on PC and Switch. Now, I watched the trailer for this, and it looked beautiful. Very unique art style. Raccoon, you would like it.
I'm definitely going to check it out.
And the O has the umlaut thing on top of it. The Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that comes out on the 23rd, and it looks beautiful. In the world of DLC, Dying Light Hell Raid comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Dying Light zombies, but in hell. No, this is not Doom, but it is Dying Light. Originally, this was supposed to be a standalone game, I believe, and instead, it kind of evolved into a DLC expansion for Dying Light. And what Dying Light's done with their game is awesome. I mean, from the original game, I 100%ed that, had a great time with it, and then the expansion came out and opened up this whole new area. And then I'm interested to see what happens with Hell Raid. I already pre-purchased it, so I'll be playing that this week.
Expansion, so just the first Dying Light.
Penn, what's up, Grenade?
With that Dying Light. I know last year at E3 they were talking about the Dying Light extra game where like another game. I don't know much about it. I just remembered it when you brought it up. I know I remembered it like 2 weeks ago when you brought it up. But did that actually come to fruition as a game, or did they just add that where you had to take over parts of Washington, like as a like?
I'm not sure.
Because I remember them saying that they showed you running across the Capitol building and stuff like that, and it showed different factions. So
I don't think they've come out with that yet. So
is that Dying Light 2?
I think that's going to be Dying Light 2. They have announced Dying Light 2, but no, we haven't seen any production elements from that come out yet. So this is just a kind of a standalone DLC story about going to hell in the Dying Light universe.
Jason.
Maybe that's where the zombies come from. I don't know. I want to know more.
The zombies.
The zombies. So, Penn, You were telling me about this new game coming out on the 24th for PSVR, Rift and Vive, Paper Beast.
Yes, Paper Beast. Just it wasn't on the list. Just wanted to bring it up because it's another one of these super colorful VR games that's coming out that looks super interesting art style wise. Like, essentially, it's an exploration game where you're going to join forces with like these exotic paper creatures, and you're working on unraveling the mysteries behind the creation of this specific universe. So I think it looks at equal points like one of those VR experiences that's meant to put on, and it makes sense right away. Right, like the art's colorful, whatever, but the gameplay makes sense right away, so it's to be super approachable. But then there's a deep lore and some stuff for the more experienced gamers to go in there and find and look around for. So if something interesting for your VR equipment, whether it's your PlayStation or it's already out for PlayStation, and this is the release on the 24th on July 24th is going to be for the Rift and Vive.
I wish I still had my HTC Vive. I had to sell it when I first moved to LA because rent's expensive down here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
So,
Aren't you paying what I pay for a 5-bedroom house on a
yes, I live in a tiny ass studio apartment. You better
So
believe
really
it.
Really quickly about that Paper Beast game, for anyone interested, it does have a 79 on Metascore. So it's been out for a little bit. It came out in March. It's got some positive reviews. Critics love it. Supposed to be pretty interesting. So if you already have a PlayStation VR and you want to check it out there, it's an option as well.
And of course, the 24th on Rift and Vive. So that sounds pretty cool, and I wish I had a Vive still. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I kind of want to talk a little bit more about it with Destiny Beyond Light getting delayed. So
I'll just go for a little bit. No, proceed. That's
well,
fine.
okay, so this was announced to come out in September. I already pre-purchased it because I wanted like the add-on stuff that you get for pre-purchasing it that you get now, and I'm kind of sad to see it being delayed all the way to November 10th. So I feel like they're trying to compete with Cyberpunk, and I don't know if it's going to be that great for the player base to try to compete with a game that's also in a sci-fi universe that I feel like they're going to lose a lot of players because of this.
I don't think they're competing. I think they're giving themselves more time.
I agree with Raccoon.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have pushed it unless they had to, because who would want to compete with Cyberpunk? You can't. I mean, Cyberpunk's going to own us for a week.
Here's the thing. I don't, myself personally, my opinion is I don't think they're intentionally competing with Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk has also been pushed back a couple times. What I think is going on is the game's not ready. And to me, if you're going to push back a game to make it good, then by all means do it good, because Destiny is right now with this season isn't a good standpoint, but it could be better. And I know they said they're talking about going back to Forsaken-esque type gameplay and how the content comes out with seasons involved. And they're also playing at home with Corona. But do I agree with them coming out against Cyberpunk? No, because 90% of the player base, I feel like, my opinion, I don't think there is a good way to find out what the player base is going to be. But I guarantee you, a lot of the people who play Destiny are stoked for Cyberpunk. Are going to go play Cyberpunk for the 2 weeks, or does it come out first? It comes out first, so they're going to play Destiny for 2 weeks.
Comes out on the 10th, and then Cyberpunk on the 19th.
And then you jump over to Cyberpunk. Inadvertently, it's not gonna help the player base, but Destiny has gone up against OG heavy hitters like Borderlands 3, and they beat Borderlands 3. They went up against Division 2, they beat Division 2. Who knows? Cyberpunk could be a garbage game, never's gonna be back on it. But at the same time, if it's a good game, I feel like it's gonna hurt the player base in Destiny just a little bit.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I pre-purchased the collector's edition. I paid the $200.
For Beyond Light?
For Beyond Light.
Okay,
I got the collector's edition. Yeah. Well, no, not the original game. I mean, that was a long time ago. Why would you even buy it now? The
GameStop still sells it.
I know. Best Buy does too. It's awful. Wouldn't do that to anybody. The interesting reason, so the concept of them pushing it back out again down to November, just like last year. I mean, what we got, Shadowkeep got pushed back to October.
It did.
It seems like a current trend. Now, if it wasn't for COVID, I would say it's a trend, and this is a ploy just to get a little bit more time in. get people to buy it a little bit more beforehand. But this is actually working directly against them. By going up against Cyberpunk 2077,
you're right.
it's going to kill the player base after a week. That is going to be hard. I don't think if they had an option, they would have made this choice otherwise. The team has been talking since this thing went down that they've been struggling with doing at-home work. If you follow their Twitters, anything like that, it's been a regular issue.
Yeah,
it's been a regular issue. So I just see it as them really having to make that schedule change. I don't think we're going to get anything extra out of it. I don't think there's going to be anything positive, and I think some people are over exaggerating what's going on. I think they're just trying to release what they were originally wanting to release, but just not in time.
Raccoon in with the conspiracy theories. I 100% agree that it could possibly be a cash grab.
Could be. Who knows?
Nope.
Only time will tell.
I completely forgot.
I didn't say that though. I mean, there's like a 2% chance. Originally, if it wasn't for COVID, I would have said it was a cash grab. But this is working against that. This is going to be hurting them more than helping them.
Plus, I don't think they created enough content to get to November.
I don't think they did either. As it is, it's already going to hurt their player base, pushing it from September to November.
The fact that you bring that up in the same thing that they were putting out about the delay, they're going to put some. They're going to extend the season of triumphs or whatever, and they're going to add something else into it. They don't know what they're doing, but they're going to add something that kind of tied everybody over, which is
basically
cool.
They're just going to be releasing content from the expansion ahead of time. That's what I see them doing. And then, of course, October event, that just gives people something to do for the month.
I mean, I liked last October's event. Like, that was a lot of fun, picking up candy and going along the maze. Anyway,
I hated it.
I love that maze.
Destiny has officially been pushed to November 10th. Mark your calendars. We'll see if it stays on November 10th or gets pushed another month. I don't know. So in other video game news this week, we've got the Microsoft Xbox big announcements on Thursday with the Xbox Games Showcase July 23rd at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, all that. We'll see what Microsoft has to say. We'll try to do a Tetrad reaction video as well, along with that, like we did with the PS5 announcements. Try to get the big five in, right? I don't know what the big five would be. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, Steam?
Nintendo? Steam?
I don't know.
The Sega Dreamcast.
Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
Neo Geo.
Bring back the Dreamcast. I was in on it recently.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about some nostalgia here in a little bit. That is the topic of the day.
It is. So we'll see what Microsoft announces on Thursday. Also, in other video game news, Metacritic has something interesting that they announced where you have to play 36 hours of the game before you can write a review.
Hold on. We got to make sure this is make sure this is confirmed. Because that's like, remember what we were talking about earlier. So how does the game know you've been playing for 36 hours? You got to log in with your PlayStation account.
I think it's after release, guys.
It's not after release. It has to be a time frame after it. Based delayed user reviews until 36 hours.
So it's an embargo on reviews until until there's time
on
play
Metacritic though. Like
on Metacritic,
you can still
only.
do your reviews on your channel. You could do your Twitch reactions live, like you normally do. But they're trying to shut down the
pre-reviews,
the obvious trolling.
Review,
People haven't played the game, and they're going to go in there and give it a 0 rating because they saw the leaks that happened about the game, and they haven't even played it yet.
And we've seen that happen time and time again, like with Last of Us 2, like with Ghost of Tsushima.
So the Ghost of Tsushima, like, actually, I was reading some stuff about it, and they actually on the website it says please play the game prior. Like it's a big bold writing on it. And with Last of Us 2, I understand, but at the same point in time, I feel like to review something and to give an honest to God review, 36 hours is more than enough time.
That's 3 days to play it, right?
Exactly. You shouldn't be going into I don't like the cover of this video game. It's stupid.
That's what you
You
see.
know,
That's what you see. Before people
exactly.
get a chance to play it, like 24 hours before the game comes out, you see a bunch of review bombs just tanking the shit out of it
That's
for
true.
one
And
reason
and,
or
and
another.
and to be fair, I just want to touch on
To be
something
fair.
Sam
To be
Thrax said though.
fair.
If you don't use Metacritic, like you should, because what they do is they have their actual people who review the games, like the people who are in news and stuff like that, but they also have a score for the player base. So you get two different reviews on it, but the player base one is always the one I think is more accurate to how the game is going to be.
You have to
I'd
read
say
it, though.
play the game first. Play the
Exactly.
game, read the reviews after, see where you
Yeah,
align.
that's how I do video games
Play
for
the game
sure.
first.
Yeah.
Have you
So-
always done that though?
Yeah, I always play the game first.
Good.
I'm always going in blind into everything. Destiny raids, video games, except for Hard Space Shipbreaker. I saw Clinton doing it, and like I got a game boner. Like you wouldn't believe. But usually,
It's a fun game.
usually I'm able to jump in blind. I'm usually like into indies like that. I'm the one on that scene playing it when it releases. But
So going on in the world of anime, there's not a whole lot of news here, but I know this week Grenade watched Gibiate. I've been watching all the new summer shows. I just wanted to just reiterate one more time. Summer season of anime is here. Go watch it. Fire Force Season 2, Sword Art Online Alicization, Gibiate, No Guns Life Season 2. All these shows are just phenomenal. Go watch them. If you haven't seen Season 1, go watch Season 1 first, and then watch the new stuff that's coming out right now.
Do it the opposite way.
Gibiate rocked. Just put it
It's
out
good.
there, rocked.
It's good. So moving on to TV shows, we've got a few TV shows coming out this week. 12 Ounce Mouse has a new season on Adult Swim. Comes out tonight at midnight, actually, so it may already be out.
what is 12 Ounce Mouse?
So it's this really shittily drawn, hilarious animation comedy with a green mouse who gets into stuff.
He gets
an
into
adult-
shenanigans. Huh?
It's an Adult Swim show. I mean, 12 Ounce Mouse. It's an interesting show.
Interesting show.
Interesting.
Oh God. Oh, that's terrible.
It's terrible. I told you, it's really shittily
frightening.
drawn.
Oh God.
Shittily drawn.
Yep. So, coming out on Netflix tomorrow, How to Sell Drugs Online Fast Season 2 comes out. And it's a foreign German TV show about a group of high schoolers selling drugs online through Bitcoin. It's actually pretty gnarly, man. Like, it's a good show. It's deep.
Yep.
It's heavy. How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. Parentheses. Fast.
Parentheses. Fast.
Comedy
like
Central has Corporate Season 2 coming out on Wednesday. It's a satire comedy about working in a corporate mega conglomerate office building. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen Season 1, definitely worth a watch. I enjoyed it. I've worked corporate. They hit it on the head. Norseman, a Netflix comedy, comes out on Wednesday as well, about Vikings who get into shenanigans, about their beliefs and traditions and stuff, and they get into shenanigans because of it. Grenade, what the hell are you laughing about, man?
I'm gonna send it to you. I just looked over at it and I saw it and I can't see it.
Grenade's crying and I love it.
It's the greatest thing ever. I'm sorry. I'm gonna send it to you right now. So Tony put this in my channel, and I don't know why it was on my server, but he said this needs to be an emote, and I can't get over seeing it. It's some Wolverine guy Kev. I'm posting it right now. I'm
Okay.
sorry, guys. It is the greatest thing in the world. No, it's the wrong one. I need to find it. Just go to my channel real quick, Clink, and grab it up and just put it in the channel. Please.
I don't know where it's at. Your
It's
stuff
in
has
general
too many
in mine.
things.
It's in general in mine. I'm sorry, guys.
All right.
I looked over it and I saw it and I was in tears. I'm sorry.
Open
That's
link.
mean.
Let's see.
guy.
What is this?
Poor guy,
Okay.
guys.
Everything just froze, Grenade.
You are right, though.
Messed everything
That
up.
should be an emote.
Absolutely. That's what the emote is, but
I'm sorry. I looked over and I saw it. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get this up. Hold on.
You're putting it on
Just for
channel.
you.
Oh God.
Are we good? We're live.
This
We're
is all your
live.
fault,
We're
Choni.
good. We froze for a second. Choni, this is your fault. This is our friend, everybody, Wolverine guy Kev.
I'm seeing Hey Arnold.
And
Right.
yep, that is
That is Hey Arnold.
that's Hey
Yeah, there's-
Arnold.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So there it
sorry.
is. That's
That's
Wolverine guy Kev.
that's
I
hilarious.
didn't mean to interrupt, but I saw
Yeah.
that and I was in tears.
Big thanks to a raccoon check. We need a grenade check. Is what
We need a
right
grenade
now.
check now. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to it. Back to TV. We're talking about Norsemen, a comedy about Vikings getting into shenanigans. It looks hilarious. I can't wait to see it. Comes out on Wednesday on Netflix. Room 104 has season 4 coming out, where crazy shit happens at a room at a motel. It's an anthology series, really big name actors. That comes out on Friday on HBO. I
That's
watched.
the 4th season, right? Yeah.
It is, yeah, Room 104, which is it's an interesting show.
Yeah, it suffers from anthology-itis, where some of the episodes are like, wow, that was something. You watch the next one, okay, this is not good. You know,
Yeah,
like-
it's
Black
very
Mirror.
interesting.
yeah, it's an anthology show, so you just it depends on the episode you're getting. So hopefully this has more of the wow and less of the meh from the 3rd season.
I saw some of the
What I
actors
saw.
in this one, and it's got a
Yeah.
good cast. I think like Jerry Seinfeld's in one of them, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Talking
We'll
about
see.
a good cast.
And then you mentioned
Hey.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is a national treasure.
National treasure.
I mean,
Winona.
he's funny, but good actor.
Jerry.
Whatever. National treasure. Winona Earp season 4 comes out on Sci-Fi on the 26th. Winona Earp hunting supernatural craziness and protecting her small town. If you haven't watched Winona Earp, it's a good sci-fi.
It started off really good, and kind of
tapered a little bit, but they've been
mixed
working on
things up, though.
they've been working on season 4 for a long while now.
Right.
So check it out. It comes out on the 26th on Sci-Fi.
I know they brought in some new directors and some other stuff, so maybe it'll be
Yep.
something.
So Grenade was telling me earlier that the Old Guard has confirmed a TV show.
Yes.
Where'd you hear about this at?
So I was actually listening to the Kevin Smith Batman Beyond Batman, the newest release, and Mark
Okay.
Menard was saying that it's been
Mhm.
confirmed, and it's not. It's going to be a series. I didn't say it was a TV show. I said it's going to be a series, either A, movies or B, a show. But they're going to kind of do a precursor to Andy's life in the old days.
Interesting.
But yes, it has been. Shut up, Siri. But
Poor
I didn't
Siri.
get that. Yeah, I hate Siri. But anyway, it's it did so well. Okay, so I posted on the
Mhm.
Twitter for Tetrad, which was awesome because Smitty actually came back and said something about it. And what it was the Old Guard had 72 million views in its first week at
Wow.
$12.50 a pop for the movie theaters. That's close to $800 million that would have made in theaters. And then at the same point in time, it also brought up how Extraction with Chris Hemsworth was 99 million. At that point in time, guys, do you think movie theaters are necessary anymore?
No.
Oh, you just opened up a huge conversation, my
We
dude.
did. We
I
did.
feel like we talked about this a little bit previously.
Yeah, because I still think movie theater experience. Is
I
something that I never wanna
enjoy the
lose,
movie
but-
theater experience personally. I had when AMC theaters were open, I had the AMC movie pass, and I was going to 3 movies a week, and I loved it. I loved going to theaters. You get to see it on a big screen, you got
Yeah.
a big sound, you got a comfy seat.
So why not
but-
both?
But yes and no. I think it's going to become more of a niche thing instead of
Yeah,
To me-
I think so too. I think it'll be more niche, but why not both? Why not give us the option, to go or to sit?
So, quoting that same podcast, right? They were saying that they used limited funding. They funded the movie for sure, but they used like limited special effects. They didn't spend nearly anything on fucking marketing, right? That movie made money hand over fist.
Yep.
Which to me, I feel like that's gonna if this is the case, like $800 million, right, at 1250. If they're able to put something out like that and it's going to hit theaters or like series and stuff like that, do you think that's going to digress or the big action movies, or do you think everybody's going to start pushing towards at home releases and not so big?
I think it's
I
just
think
going to
it's still
split the
gonna be big.
market. I think what you're going to see on Netflix and come out for home release is going to be like the old guard, this different style, and you're still going to get the other stuff in cinema in theaters because it's because of how they're filmed. The old guard was filmed to watch at home. Hey, like if you look at the comparisons to like a Thor Ragnarok, for example, that was shot for the big screen. That
Yeah.
was meant to be watched on a big screen. You're chewing on popcorn and lickies and chewies and soda and all this good stuff. And then you're with friends, big screen, big experience. It's an event film, right? The old guard was not an event film. It was just an awesome movie, a great story. You could watch it at home.
But at the same point in time, I have a big 4K TV, a popcorn maker, and I can lay on the couch without having to worry about the dude sitting next to me because you can't tell me that you don't try to sit like one seat away.
I got a big 4K TV too, but it's not the same thing as being in the theater with the way the sound is and the way that it looks, especially in 3D. You can't match it at home.
But that being said, technology is moving more and more to cheaper, quicker, easier options with regards to home theater setups. I mean,
yeah, but I can't
ago,
have 140 speakers in my house like a Dolby Atmos theater.
But you don't need that much anymore.
Excuse
that's
me?
You can create the same.
Excuse me?
It's not the same.
We're a technology company. I get this.
It's not the same bone rattling sound.
I'm an AV engineer.
My neighbors would be mad.
And I require 1140 speakers to watch a movie.
Fine.
I want my beard to like stand up.
You guys and your beards.
The sound just...
Anyway,
go to a movie theater and act like you're watching fucking
Grenade,
Jurassic Park.
You opened a can of worms there.
The ripples.
But yes, it would be cool to have theaters and home. I think both would be great.
Yeah,
and
I think
be given the choice. And with COVID, it is already happening, yes. Disney Plus TV shows, some just got delayed, some are still moving forward. WandaVision and The Mandalorian, still scheduled to be released on time. We'll find out more about that here at Comic-Con. And Winter Soldier, unfortunately, got pushed back due to COVID.
But with that being said, they just started filming again.
Yeah, they did.
The reason why the Winter Soldier and not WandaVision and not Mando was almost already done before this COVID stuff. Like they had the green light before the show actually dropped. But with WandaVision, they're trying to do that whole crazy House of M, but mixed in with what's the lady with the red hair and her husband was always yelling at her, the old 40 show. I forgot what the name of it was called.
The
40 show?
I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy. Yes, they're gonna be doing an I Love Lucy type deal about that. Yeah.
Interesting.
But the reason why Falcon and Winter Soldier is because it's a globe-trotting movie. And that literally just got opened up, and they found a way around it by either I can't remember the exact country it was in, but it's either
New Zealand, I think.
It's New Zealand.
Is it New Zealand?
Mm-hmm. They're going to film down there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's great.
that's cool. It is. I mean, that's got every climate there. It's a beautiful country. Like it's definitely it'll be put on track and it'll be good too.
Zero COVID.
Zero COVID.
Except for what people keep bringing there.
Yeah, Americans.
And they quarantine them. Yep.
So we hit a little bit on movies earlier, but coming out this week in movies, we got some interesting sci-fi and horror films coming out. Attraction 2: Invasion, that comes out tomorrow. It's a foreign sci-fi movie where the first one, a woman fell in love with an alien, and the powers that be did not like that. And in this one, the aliens are invading the planet. Now, it's a Russian film, and the 3D graphics in it looked like on point, like top budget movie.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. So we'll see.
Hold on, Clink.
What?
I just saw something, and I want to make sure it's true, because if it is, and there's any PlayStation fans or fans of a good game, the trailer was just dropped.
Okay.
Live news, breaking news. Beep, beep, beep,
Breaking
beep, beep, beep,
news.
beep, beep, beep.
Scary.
It was. Here you go. I'm linking it to you right now.
I mean, I can't play it on here, but that's okay. Just tell me what it is.
Tell us.
It's the Hellblade 2 trailer.
Okay.
Oh.
Awesome.
Was. Yeah.
So Hellblade 2 trailer just came out while we were here on the show, so make sure you go check that out. I never played Hellblade 1, but
Super cool game. Super cool game.
Yeah, I'm about to play it. I just got it on my Xbox.
Cool.
Play through it. Finally.
So go check out the Hellblade 2 trailer. Also in movies, The Room. coming out. It's a horror where a family moves into a new house and starts going insane because of a hidden room in the house that gives you anything you want. And she wants a kid. And so the room gives her a kid, and the husband's like, "You're not real!" It's scary.
That's frightening.
That's frightening, right?
Why?
Yeah,
God,
I mean,
why?
I think small. I was just thinking, like, can I get some Sour Patch Kids?
But
Wow.
I guess you can't take the thing, whatever you got, outside of the house. Otherwise it disintegrates.
Oh, that poor baby.
Yeah. So the room comes out tomorrow as well. This Friday, Amulet, another horror movie where a homeless man with nowhere to go joins a convent living in a dormitory, but something is not quite right with the Mother Superior and the rest of the nuns. They're possessed by demons.
Wow.
I'm
That's
a big fan of
very
horror
new.
movies.
Sour Patches by the wife, so she heard.
Oh,
The room has
Lucky you.
granted my wishes.
The room has granted your wishes. Okay, so the other day I was talking about Josh Hartnett with some of my friends. We were like, hey, whatever happened to Josh Hartnett? Like, he was like America's heartthrob, right? And he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. It turns out that he was working on indie film movies that he was passionate about. Speaking of Josh Hartnett, he's got a new action film coming out, Target #1, Most Wanted. He's a journalist who's publishing a story that the government doesn't want out. It also has comedian Jim Gaffigan, who happens to be coming out with a comedy special on the same day on Amazon Prime.
That's super dope. 'Cause I'm a Gaffa fan. I'm definitely a Gaffa fan.
Yep. So it's anyway, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's on video on demand as well. Radioactive, a historical drama about Mary Curie discovering the fundamentals of elements in radioactivity, starring Rosamund Pike from Gone Girl, 007, and Jack Reacher. So, you know, I enjoy historical dramas a lot, and finding out more about Mary Curie and, you know, a female scientist back in the day where, you know, only males got credit for things, and the drama that ensues from that. I'm excited about that one.
that sounds good. Yeah.
Sheldon Cooper would have been stoked too.
I
For
know,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So that comes out on the
Yeah.
24th. Dave Franco has kind of a directorial debut coming out with a new IFC Films horror movie featuring Dan Stevens from Legion, Alison Brie from Community, and Jeremy Allen White from Shameless. Friends rent a house on the beach and are getting spied on peeping Tom style with cameras all around the house, and shit just, it goes wrong.
Creepy.
All those peeping Toms.
All those peeping Toms. Finally, in movies, Orlando Bloom has a new film coming out called Retaliation. A construction worker at a church in London gets revenge on those who abused him as a kid. Looks like a really serious
Where's that releasing?
drama. Video on demand as well.
Just video on demand? Okay.
I think it's a
Video on
Saban Films movie, so it would have been in theaters, but alas, it is not. I was
Did
actually
you just say Saban? Back up.
Saban.
Did you just say Saban?
Yeah.
It's Saban. I got to correct Clink.
Yes.
Today is a day to remember.
This day shall henceforth be remembered in the annals of history.
Right?
Name do a thing.
A Saban film coming out with Orlando Bloom. So go check that out. Video on demand. It would have been in theaters, but you know, as we know, there are no theaters right now. So yay!
Today I'm winning today. Like I think I've gotten corrected by you 4 times today
I always correct you.
already. Yeah. But I'm stoked I got you, and I'm gonna make a big fucking deal out of it for the rest of this podcast.
All
Just
right,
so
so Avengers is coming out with Empire.
Comic books, right? We switched to
Comic
comic
books.
book news.
We're on comic books now.
news before we
We're not
continue
on
to shit on
you
everybody.
Avengers.
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 That's
So
how we
in-
do it these days.
In comic books, Empire Avengers #1 coming out, where the threat from the stars reaches Earth, and Captain America sends out the call for heroes to fend them off from all across the globe. So
When you say Avengers, all I think is Captain America with one of those swords standing like Zorro.
He's got a fencing sword.
Yep.
Repost.
So Marvel comic books kind of moving into this new saga of the Empire saga. So they also have another series coming out along those same lines, which is Lords of Empire, Empire Hulkling #1, Child of Kree hero Marvel, and the Skrull princess named Teddy abandon Earth and the Avengers. So more Empire series as well.
Did you call it Emperor Hulkling? Empire Hulkling right there?
Emperor Hulkling?
Yes.
Is that number 2?
Not what it
Are
is.
we on number 2? Are we on number 2?
That's #1. Number
No, I
one
mean-
comes out on that.
Number 2,
Yeah,
correction.
but correction.
What is it?
Are we on 2?
It's Emperor. You said Empire. You said like Lords of
Lords,
Empire.
Lords, Lords of
Empire?
that is literally what it's called. Lords of Empire, Emperor Hulkling.
You didn't say Emperor. You said Empire.
Empire.
Okay. We'll hold you to this later.
Uh-huh.
We'll watch
Emperor
this episode
Hulkling.
again.
Well, watch this episode again.
Jesus
Raccoon's gonna
Christ.
come back. Like she's gonna remember.
Also
I'm
in
not.
comic books, Amazing Spider-Man Sin's Rising Prelude. Who is the Sin Eater? The curtain is pulled back on one of the most dangerous Spidey villains as Sin Eater's secret is revealed. So,
Bum bum bum.
Amazing Spider-Man.
That sounds good.
Spider.
That sounds really good.
Spider-Man. So, Free Comic Book Day 2020 coming soon. I think this Wednesday for Free Comic Book Day 2020 is Amazing Spider-Man and Venom in Spider-Man Venom #1, where two tales get connected in those two separate universes.
With that free comic book day, though, get a hold of your local comic shops. Make sure they're actually going to be doing something, or if it's online, because I do remember either Penn or Raccoon or even Clink saying something that they might be holding their free comics until the end of the year when COVID's done. So it doesn't
Some of
hurt
them
to
are.
find out. Yeah.
Mhm. Or they'll send them to you. I think mine over here, they'll send them if you ask.
Cool. Finally, in a comic books, comic bouquets,
Kabookies.
You're just done. You've given up on pronouncing things today.
Green Hornet #1, The Return of Green Hornet, comes out on Wednesday.
Try to pronounce
Who's
that.
doing that?
Try to pronounce that hornet in French.
Green Hornet.
He went for it, man. He had that ready.
Wow. Very
I
uncomfortable.
liked it. I did
Something
like
I want
that
to
a lot.
mention.
But-
No, we
but
talked about.
who did the Green Hornet?
I'm
Real quick.
not
Who's
sure.
doing that? Because like I didn't even know this was a thing. Like who's
It
doing
is.
that? Who's
It
doing
is
that?
a thing. I can find out for you.
And then we'll get to your thing, Raccoon.
What did
Just
you
a
want?
second.
Okay.
Before
So
we leave the topic.
comics this week. Green
Yeah, let me
Hornet.
look this
It is Scott Lobdell from Flash and Uncanny X-Men, and artist Anthony Marquez from Vampirilla and Red
Yeah,
Sonja.
Vampirilla.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
Raccoon, what were you going to say?
I was just wanting to. Oh, shut.
Shite.
Sorry. I got something blasting in my ears. So something real quickly to bring up. I brought this up a little bit earlier in the chat right before we started. Darkest Nights. So we've been talking every week or so that I've been on here about the death metal Batman series that's continuing to release new series every week. This one is pretty interesting. So we've evolved from the Batman Who Laughs into a brand new form after taking over a Bruce Wayne that was actually Dr. Manhattan. It's really complex, into the Darkest Night himself. It's part of their gods. The
Evil
death
Dr.
metal
Manhattan.
universe.
Evil
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan does not sound fucking glorious.
Oh no!
Like, I feel like that's the end of the universe right there.
That
They
sounds
shove
how
scary.
his brain into that body. It's creepy. It's
That's
really
how
good.
that's how you destroy an entire universe. Dr. Manhattan is like the one above all version of DC.
Oh yeah, it's gonna blow up. It's pretty exciting though. I love when they combine the Watchmen universe into the DC main canon, and then everything with death metal, just combining all
And-
of that meshing. It's gonna be crazy when I actually.
Pen
see it.
Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Raccoon. I just wanted to say before we move on. Green Hornet, the Phantom, and Kato, they've been doing that comic for actually quite a while now. All three of them teamed up. Yep. Green Hornet's been around for a hot minute. I think is it Image or is it Dark Horse?
Yeah,
I know it's an off company, but Um,
'Cause
that's
I'm a
definitely
giant Kato fan, giant
yeah.
Hornet fan. Like, I didn't know they had a comic. Now I do. I've been informed.
You have been informed. So that kind of wraps up our weekly news segment of everything coming out and all the cool stuff happening in the nerddom. See, I can pronounce nerddom correctly.
Yeah, it's one thing
Grenade.
tonight.
Take that.
He can't handle the one correction you gave him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the Power Rangers when they were under Sabian
Suck.
or
All right.
Beetleborgs. I'm pretty sure they were under Sabian too.
Saban
Man, I
Films.
haven't heard that too.
Saban.
Saban. All right. So every week we kind of go through and review a piece of the nerddom, whether it's a movie, a TV show, video game. And this week we are going to start with The Last Pen Fighter. Pen, what did you end up reviewing this week?
Hi, everybody. So I was really excited to sit down and watch through Hannah season 2. As Hannah, going way back, has always been something I've been interested in as a story, just with the idea of child assassins and secret government kill organizations and stuff like that. That interests me. I'm a Born Identity fan. I'm into stuff like that. So I watched that first season of Hannah. Phenomenal. The first season was great. They spent a lot of time in the show being able to focus on things that the movie couldn't do. And while
And
I like the
I
movie,
really enjoyed the movie a lot as well.
yeah, it was great. It was great to see more of that survival, more of her becoming different from the rest of the spy world because of her experience. And that's kind of what makes Hannah a special character. Is she isn't just like another spy. She got time with her father, with Eric, to learn survival stuff and to learn right from wrong and morals. And you introduce all those things into a character that's supposed to be a cold-blooded assassin. You end up with a very interesting character.
Hey,
So the
Penn,
second, yep,
before you go, I just want a little bit of perspective because I have not watched the
yeah,
series.
please.
Just a little bit of perspective from your end because I know you do writing and stuff like that. But would you say the series is better than the movie, or the movie's better than the series?
It's just I wouldn't say better. It's as far as like in the terms of like, well, is the script better for the movie or for the show? The movie was well written. It was great, but
Okay.
it's like what 119 minutes, 118 minutes, whereas of 2 full seasons of television, you get to tell more of the story.
Okay.
So it's better in the regard. I hate the English language because better, the implication's different, right? Because it's not like it's superior to the movie, like the writing is superior, but it's better overall because you have more time.
And
That makes sense.
there was so much
Yeah.
time to be able to like bring in these new characters and ideas and kind of evolve Hannah's story more than they could in the movie. I really enjoyed that part of it where it's like
You
you
get
got
to know
to
everything better.
you really
New
got to
tracks and
learn
everything.
about her and who she was as a person and why she holds and carries the values that she does. I hadn't seen season 1 when season 2 dropped, and like I binged both seasons in like 2 nights.
Again. Yeah.
It was so good. Yeah,
So good. The acting is good. So getting into like actually reviewing what this product is, so you guys can be aware of what this is. It's definitely what you would call like the more minimalist trend. Think of like how Jack Ryan, the TV show, is different from Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit or
Mhm.
any of these other Jack Ryan films that came out that was big and these big massive explosions and popcorn moments and dropping the cheesy
Bro.
one-liners. But you watch the Jack Ryan show that they did
Wait,
with
hold on,
John
hold on.
Krasinski, and it's a totally different ballgame. We're going more minimalist with it.
Are you saying the series itself is more like the John Krasinski series?
Yes.
Like, okay, you just turned me onto the show. I
Yeah, I mean
love
that's
John
the best way to
Krasinski's.
explain Hannah because like you have your popcorn spy stuff, right? Your stuff that you're used
Got
to
it.
seeing your Mission Impossibles where you got Henry Cavill punching Tom Cruise and all
Right.
this big stuff, the big stuff. But then you've got these things that are starting to come out now, like the new Jack Ryan show, where we're
I
getting
love it.
back to like think of like the Hunt for Red October back in the day,
Right.
right? Where it was
You're
minimalist.
speaking my language.
It's a smaller set. It's a great cast, but it's a small cast. It's a tighter
Clear and present
story.
danger.
There is still some world hopping, which is great because that's what's so great about Bourne and some of these other
Mhm.
films, right? You get to see
Mhm.
Prague and Morocco and all these different settings. There's still some of that in there, but it's done in more of like a it's almost like these people are just people you could have seen on the street, like the clothes, from the costume design to the things that they're saying, the actions they're taking, their day-to-day stuff. It's very minimalist. It's very down to earth and grounded in reality. So it makes the action moments even more visceral and punctuated, because you've gone 2 or 3 episodes without anybody really getting shot, and then all of a sudden there's a shootout, right? And it's just Hannah's actions are so precise, John Wick style almost, very aggressive, very precise. She knows what she's doing. She's got this all planned out. It's very satisfying to watch the combat, but that's not the main dig. The main dig for this is the story and how interesting Hannah is as a character. Now, the second season does have a lot of characters in it compared to the first. So
Mhm.
to compare seasons, you have a lot more of the ancillary type character that comes in and helps tell and helps progress Hannah's story, but also ends up taking a lot of screen time. So that's something that does take place in this season a little bit. I mean, not as bad as like an Iron Fist where half the show wasn't even him, but it's not that bad. But it's still at a point where you're definitely not getting as big a glimpse into Hannah. It's like they established Hannah in the first season, and the second season now they're telling different types of stories because they've already established her.
Now,
If that makes
I'm really where the season left off. I'm really excited to
Oh,
see
man.
what carries over into the next season. I think season 3 is going to end up being more about Hannah being the assassin that she is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't
so-
want to spoil too much, but they definitely get her character to where now she's set up to go on
Mm-hmm.
these adventures and from the source material,
Yep.
that we're
Uh,
used to.
I, man, you just turned me on to a new series, dude. If it's
Yep.
okay, so I love Jack Ryan. I remember sitting there
Mhm.
watching that shit with my grandpa. Clear and Present Danger, Hunt for Red October,
Right.
all those movies with Harrison Ford, and then you went into even Ben Affleck's Jack Ryan was good, and then you had Chris Pine's, which Chris Pine's Jack Ryan, I liked him, but I didn't like him at the same time. It just didn't have that Jack Ryan feel.
No,
But when
it
I
was a Mission
watched,
Impossible film.
yeah, exactly.
Is what they
When I
made there.
but when I watched John Krasinski play Jack Ryan, my girlfriend doesn't like espionage movies like that either. We sat down and watched that, and we were hooked. Like we wanted more.
Right. It's the
Like
reality, right? It's not all this
exactly
crazy. They're not relying on like crazy face swapping and
right.
all this crazy stuff. It's just really great storytelling.
Yeah,
You care
and
about the characters.
it was the whole trying to figure out like so. If anybody doesn't know anything about Jack Ryan, he's not an actual CIA. He's CIA, but he's an accountant for the CIA, and he like
Yeah, he's an
follows the money
analyst. He's
trails.
not an action
Yes,
hero. Yeah.
and that's to me is like because they in the Sum of All Fears and Shadow Recruit, they kind of touched on it like a little bit, but when John Krasinski, it brought it back to like the Harrison Ford days when he was actually tracking the money to find out what was going on, and I just dug that movie. And if you're
And
Yeah,
saying
he's a little awkward and people don't like him, and he's very
right,
grounded and
It
relatable.
brought
you're
that
saying-
level of realism to the whole thing
Yeah.
instead of seeing just big
And if you're-
007 style explosions. And
if you're
that-
saying Hannah is
with
like
Hannah,
that,
it's
I'm all on board.
very much
I'm
like
all
that.
on
Yeah,
board.
she's not an analyst for CIA, but other than that, as far as like how it's shot and the way that they bring reality in, it's not even hyper realistic. It's just this is it. This is real people,
Right.
real life.
Yep.
Does it make
Really
it
good.
seem a little bit more plausible, like that
Mhm.
whole which like hey, you're watching, you go this very well may be something's happening. Like I'm totally turned on. I'm going to binge watch a shit out of it and give
Yep.
you my review on it next week.
Enjoy, yeah, because I would give the second season 4 out of 5 pens in my
Really?
pen protector. Yeah,
Same,
Cool.
same.
Like,
4 out of 5
I'm-
chocobos.
yeah, great show. Check out Hannah, guys. It's on Amazon Prime. Watch the first season, watch the second season, soak it all up. It's actually really good stuff.
That's great.
Exciting.
Grenade, go watch it.
I'm actually no, I'm super geeked. Like the fact that he said it, like, because like I said, I love Jack Ryan. If he's like saying giving it a 4 out of 5, like I do trust Penn's his ratings, and then if he's saying it's anything like the John Krasinski, Jack Ryan, like remotely close, it's going to be good. You know what I mean?
The first
Like,
season I would have given 5 pens, right? And the only detraction for me was just simply that we did lose a little bit of focus on Hannah a little bit. I feel like
Right.
some episodes I barely saw anything to do with Hannah because of all the
Yeah.
new tracks and backstory, and
I
which
think
is
they had to
fine,
do some
but-
world building there, but I would have liked to see Hannah more
Right.
inside of that
I'm-
world building.
I'm totally stoked now. I'm like actually totally stoked.
So 4
Enjoy.
out of 5 on Hannah season 2. Go watch it on Amazon Prime. Lots of fun. So
Wait,
wait. What? What?
I
Grenade?
want to know, was it just the fact that they kind of veered away from her storytelling in season 2 that dropped it down to the 4?
Yep.
Or was that the only thing?
That's the only
Yep.
thing.
All right, I'm fucking geeked, man. Pretty
Good
excited
show.
actually right now.
Great show. So I talked about it earlier, but I've been playing a lot of Death Stranding on PC. Now
Yes, give me a Death Stranding review.
hold on, let me cue this up. So I played this video earlier. It's basically the same game that was released on PS4, but now available on PC on Steam. And what NVIDIA was able to do with the graphics in Death Stranding is just out of this world. I mean, looking at the scene, all the scenery,
Wow.
the world you're in, this is all CG. It's just insane. The new AI DLSS that they included in this. So Death Stranding, the story itself takes place in the near future, like 12 years from now, after this catastrophic extinction level event happened, where people, when they died, started exploding. And the afterlife, which in the game they call it the beach, has started invading into the real world. And so time itself you kind of have to pull yourself out of time, because time now works differently, where it's like, is a day really a day anymore, or is it a year that's gone by in a day? Like, nobody really knows. Like, there's a lot of like existential elements of the story that they bring into this game. So you have these ghosts, you have BTs is what they call them. You end up having to have this little baby to detect the BTs. There's a lot of storytelling that Hideo Kojima did with this game that I feel like he just nailed it. Like,
Let's touch on that story for a minute, because looking into this game, I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen them too, Clink. Like, I've seen some legit reviews, not like the people that normally bitch whenever you have a deep story. Oh, I didn't understand it, bleh. But like from legit people that I trust, like curators on Steam, people like that have just said like the story at some point. There's two issues that they bring up. One is that it's convoluted.
It's very convoluted. Very
And the second
convoluted.
is that there's a lot of unnecessary stuff that just seems like it's in there just because he thought it would be cool to put it in there, but it doesn't help you understand anything. There's a lot of story elements.
Well, it's also Hideo Kojima, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's been that way since Metal Gear. Like, there's
Yeah,
there's a lot of unnecessary bloated stuff in Metal Gear
There
as well.
is a lot of that, and a lot of it is open for interpretation, to where it's like for years you'll have people and players of this game talking about elements of this story that it's like, well, what did this really mean? And Hideo Kojima, being the storyteller that he is, obviously has a deeper meaning to it, and it's up to you to interpret that deeper meaning. It's not outright told to you. It's a super deep and complex game. What he did when putting the time and effort into the story and storytelling of it is to make you as a player actually slow down and look at the world around you, where, yeah, sure, you can take this as an action game if you want, but really it's about slowing down and taking a breath and pushing pause and relaxing in the world that's put before you.
You have a thought, Raccoon. I see thoughts on your face.
So I've never been a big Metal Gear or Hideo Kojima fan in general. His way of telling stories is very interesting because the lore and the mythos is there, but the experience of actually playing the game does not draw me. What about this game makes it any more than just a movie? My experiences with it doesn't have much of a gameplay element in itself.
There's okay, so yes, there are a lot of cutscenes in this game, and the cutscenes bring you into the next area of the game that you're going to be exploring, and the game's really all about connections that you're making with these other people. And then there's crazy stuff like this that I'm playing now that you get transported.
So we got some gameplay here?
No, not really gameplay. It's more.
Oh darn!
There is a little.
I
want to see the gameplay.
There is a little bit of gameplay in here, but this is, there's one part where you get teleported back to World War II, and have to fight these crazy zombie things. And I just wanted to throw in that Mads Mikkelsen is an amazing actor.
Yes, he is.
And he really nailed this part, and you can What he portrays in his acting in this game is just out of this world. It is.
Yeah, the motion
He really
capture's
nailed it. The mocap is
phenomenal.
awesome. So
Yeah.
The
getting back
technology's
getting
there.
back to your question of the story, it's all about the connections you make with these preppers, these shelter people around the United States, where after the Death Stranding happened, these people are holed up in their homes. Very similar and kind of on the head with how we are right now with COVID, where it's like we're sheltered in our homes. And imagine if it only got worse and everybody started dying and like LA exploded, New York exploded, the entire Midwest exploded, and there's only a few people left. And these people are just holed up in their homes. And it's your job as Sam Porter Bridges to reconnect America and reconnect people back to the rest of society. So that's the storyline, and with each big story arc that happens in the game, it drives you to want to reconnect those people. And like I said, it's about slowing down and taking a look at the world around you and what these connections with human civilization are in real life right now, and it makes you question all those things and think about it. So here's a little bit of gameplay in this World War II scenario, which I still have to pick up cargo. You know, all the story elements of that are still there, but it's
it's
very intense.
I have two questions further.
Mm-hmm.
One is, I see the gameplay here. Is it simply just picking up things, connecting towers, and moving from place to place?
A lot of it is, yeah. You get more upgrades as you connect to the chiral network, is what they call it. And as you make more connections, you get more bandwidth, and you build these structures to make your job delivering easier. I just unlocked zip lines, which I'm very happy about, building my zip line network across the mountains of the Rockies and delivering to all of these people out there.
Now, I honestly thought this was Zipline the game because of the videos I've seen on it.
I mean, zip lines are game changing in the game, and it's so much fun. And figuring out, how to maximize your zipline network to be the best that it possibly can be. But no, you don't have to use zip lines if you don't want to. And other people's structures that they build, they talk about the multiverse, and that's why you see other people's cargo and see other people's structures that they built in your game, is because of this multiverse theory that they put forward. The part that's playing right now is obviously a kind of single section of the game. This happens a few times throughout it, where the Mads Mikkelsen character is not all that he seems. It's beautiful.
Fair enough.
The entire game is just fantastic.
Like lounging, dude. He's
No, I'm watching what screen we're on. I'm watching what screen. I'm just listening to talk. Like, okay, I'm gonna be the first person to tell you that. Ask Clink. I gave him so much shit for this game. UPS walking simulator this, UPS walking simulator that. But after I saw that first cutscene, I was like, oh, maybe I'll dig into it a little bit more.
I can see the appeal. Yeah.
But I jumped into his stream. It was like fucking 6 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I had a headache. And listening to the smooth jazz of Neelink and the game that he was playing, Death Stranding, I kept asking questions over and over again, different questions. I kept referring to Mikkelsen, Mads Mikkelsen or whatever, as James Bond villain. And but he was like, I kept asking him questions. He would show up talking to people, and I was like, "What's the point of this? Like, what's the point of this baby? What's the point of this?" Like, and he had all the answers for it, and how they constructed the game from when I was watching Neelink play it. And I tell you right now, I was completely anti Death Stranding because I thought it was a walking sim, but watching Neelink play it and the things he was doing in it, and how, I wouldn't say convoluted, but how like one small thing led to another big thing, and watching Normus Reedus go through a change, I am probably going to buy it and play it.
Yeah,
because the story looks good. Yeah.
the story is really where it's at, and how your character evolves over the time that you're playing it. I mean, right now I'm 38 hours into it, and I'm only on chapter 4 because I've been taking it slow. Like, I wanted to enjoy the game for everything that it is, and really slow down and look at all the features that they put into it, and all the connections and world building that's in there. There's so much world building. I mean, I could talk for like 3 days straight about everything about Death Stranding, but I won't do that to you guys. But I love that game.
On your channel, though, you could do that to us.
On my channel,
we'll
though, I can do it. And I honestly give this game 5 chocobos out of 5 chocobos. Like, it is everything that I want in a game and more.
I need the answer to question 2.
Don't answer it. Don't answer it.
Need
because
the
it's a part of the
answer to
story.
question 2.
It's a part of the story.
What's question 2?
Is it a real baby?
You're gonna have to wait till the end of the game for that one.
That's a spoiler.
That is a spoiler, and I will
Mhm.
answer it offline with you specifically, because if you're never gonna play it and you don't want to know
Like,
and you
I'm
don't care
not.
about spoilers, I'll tell you. But like, everything is so convoluted in that game that like one thing connects to the next, connects to the next, connects to the next, and because X and X happens, this happened because of that, due to this. There's a lot. So anyway, the other thing I have to say is, with the PC release of Death Stranding, they added in some Half-Life stuff, including Gordon science glasses from Half-Life. You have to go pick up portal cubes for some missions as well. Really cool that they added extra missions specifically for the Steam release.
Lindy, thanks for
Gladys.
the resub. Appreciate that.
Does Gladys talk to you when you go to the portal cubes?
I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but that's what I read about.
So, like, that's what I was going to ask you. That's a question I have for you, Clinker, wrapping up the review there, is what do they bring to the PC? Because obviously they brought better graphics.
The DLSS graphics is the main thing that they brought. But then
Okay.
these extra few missions and nods to Valve as a company, it's pretty cool. You know, I got the Gordon glasses. I can wear the Gordon glasses now. And then
Yeah, I
once
need
you
to get
pick
some.
those up, you start getting emails from these prepper
Black
shelters.
Mesa?
Yeah. Well, so you start getting emails from these characters that you've unlocked saying, "Oh, hey, do you like those glasses? By the way, I had this cube that I really cared about. It's off here somewhere. Can you go pick it up for me?" And like, you get these interactions with these NPC characters through emails, and then you go pick it up, and they're very grateful that you dropped it off for them, and you rebuild the UCA, the United Cities of America. Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
All that.
Grenade with his rocket catcher. All right, Nate, what'd you bring for a review tonight?
Grenade, what do you got for us?
First of all, I'm throwing out there to Rock Cat. I got your shirt on. I'm supporting you, buddy. Second of all, I've got the brand new game of Ghost of Tsushima.
Didn't expect that at all.
Yes.
Totally
And I
unexpected.
love it. Love it. I love it. I love it.
Do we
But I'm
got some
gonna give
beautiful
you-
clean footage?
We do. I'm
Yes.
going to bring in my honest to God review of it. So the game starts off with a huge war between the Mongols and the samurai. All right. I don't want to tell you much about the story of it because it's really, really in depth. But what I can tell you is, like, it's super in depth with the samurai lore. Like, I actually got yelled at one time when I was going around assassinating people. I get a flashback and it's your uncle yelling at you, going, "A samurai never kills from behind. They always kill looking at their enemy," you know. And you're like, "Oh shit! Like, how am I supposed to get around with, like, it's got you on some moral standpoints in that game, which is actually pretty cool. Like honor, respect, discipline, which is super cool. One thing I've always thought was good with the samurai mindset, you know. You got your 3 class, like the ghost itself, like the Ghost of Tsushima. You're trying to figure out how to stay a samurai, but you're also working to the ways of the shinobi and a ghost. A ghost is like your 3rd tier of being kind of assassin-ish, right? But at the beginning of this game, I was going crazy because there's too many cutscenes and I wanted to go fight. I wanted to play this game, right? But it was getting you set up for the character that you're playing. You wanted to be they wanted you to understand who he was. And like we was talking about Metacritic earlier, if you look on the website for Ghost of Tsushima, at the top right in big red writing says, please play the game before you review it. And I think that was the reason why they wanted you to get in the mindset of the samurai, because at the beginning of the game, they're drilling into you the mindset of what a samurai is supposed to be. So that way, when you make these decisions about assassinating someone, you're like, fuck, am I screwing over my samurai heritage right now? And then if you ever played,
deep.
yeah. And then when you're playing the game, it's actually super cool because do you still have that footage, Clink?
Oh yeah.
When you're playing it, you got a few different ways to do things. You have your assassinations, or you can walk up and stand off against somebody. When you stand off, you're literally like, it's got, hold on, don't run this part just yet. With the standoffs, this guy's like jerking on you, trying to get you to jump, because if you jump, he'll kill you first. But if you do it at the right time, right when he starts attack, you'll kill him. But then you get stories like this right here.
Tell me when you want you to run it.
Run it right now. You get gameplays like you're running. And it's super cool because it's very Tarantino-ish, where it's got like the words that pop up and ominous about what's going on. You're going through a whole entire storyline. You're learning about a certain piece of gear or a certain weapon, right? And then at the end of it, you get to fight like a duel like this, and it's completely out of the mindset of the game itself. And it's literally a duel. Like right here, you're dueling a demon, an Oni, right? And then it's for a certain weapon. And they straight up whoop your ass. I'm playing this on medium, and I'm like laser focused. And this dude is coming out of nowhere, whooping your ass. And you have all the tells in the thing too. Like, and it's so random. Like you'll be beating the shit out of the guy. And the next thing you know, you see it red. You're like, all right, I got to dodge this. Right when you're going to dodge right, he'll aim at you while you're going right and slap you. And his sword does so much damage. Like, so these are super calculated. You have to figure out how you're fighting. You can't just button mash. And they'll counter you just like you counter them, which is super rad.
How does this game compare to, like, I played through Sekiro 2 times the first week it came out, or like a Souls type game. Does it feel like a Souls game, or like more an Assassin's Creed style game, or a mix of both? I feel like
if Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider had a Japanese baby, it would be this game, because it takes you through a huge story, but at the same time, stuff like this is very Sekiro feeling, because you have to have these battles. It's like a mixture of more so those two with the open world, but then you have, I didn't mean Japanese baby, it's a samurai baby, I guess. But this part right here gives you a Sekiro feel, so you could have that honor of actually fighting like a samurai if you run around assassinating everybody. This dude right here whooped my ass so many times. I was getting mad. Like that's, and at the end of the game, they're like brutal about it too. Like you get down on the ground, they actually let you crawl around a little bit, trying to res yourself, while they walk up and just put a sword in the back. But with this game, I'm about 20, almost 30 hours in, and it's got a very John Woo feel. This scene right here, by the way.
The birds. Yeah,
birds.
Yeah.
Isn't there an overlay, like a full black and white filter that you can put on the game as well to make it feel like a classic samurai movie?
So this game, this part right here is the only reason why I cut this part, is because I thought it was super cool, like the fighting behind it, because you had to be calculated. But the rest of the game, just like Death Stranding, is beautiful. It shows Japan, feudal Japan, the mountains, the log cabin on the side of the mountains with the orchids everywhere, with the leaves flying everywhere. It's just a beautiful game. Yeah. And you can actually go into picture mode, where you either remove your hat, your mask, and everything like that, and you can sit on your horse, make it a red filter. You can play the game in a black and white filter. You can make it actually even play it like an old like a Shogun film back in the day, like the spaghetti western type deals, or you can play it to where it's very cinematic, right? To where it'd be like something, how do I explain it? It'd be like a movie. There's no HUD, there's no life bar, there's no health, and the camera angle chases you in different directions, which is super rad. I actually had to go in there and make the camera angle fast so it would get behind the guy, so it wouldn't interrupt the gameplay. But this game is just super rad. I cannot stress how much I like it. And the only reason why I would give it 4 out of 5 grenades is because the beginning of the game, when you want to get in there, you want to start fighting with the
See,
gameplay. There's
I
cutscenes.
I enjoyed the world building of those cutscenes because I played through the beginning of the game, and that's about all that I'm at right now is at the beginning of it, and I enjoyed those cutscenes. I enjoyed seeing the opening sequence of this big battle between Mongols and samurai and like learning who's
Right.
who and what's what, and then it takes you out, and then you're remembering your training with your uncle or whatever, and like that's the tutorial is you remembering training with like a wooden katana, and it kind of
Right.
shows you the mechanics of the game, and then you jump back into it and more cutscenes. I appreciated that part of it actually.
Yeah.
So
And
Thoughts, Raccoon?
Yes, I have thoughts. So, as somebody who doesn't normally play games like this, I'm not a solo single player game. I typically steer away from Dark Souls, Bloodborne being a exception to that. What would you say to a player who's interested in this game simply because of the aesthetic, the gameplay mechanics look fun? What would push you over to buying this game compared to other games that are coming out right now, or similar games like Sekiro?
for like you personally, like if I were to try to sell it to you or just anybody.
Me, anybody, same
All
thing.
right, with you, I would try to sell it to you. Like the game is deep within lore, with the Oni, with Izanagi, with all the people in Japanese history and mythology itself. They go deep into them. When you like, even when you go to a prayer temple and you pray, it talks about the person you're praying, the charms, everything about charms, the history behind how they pray, each piece of armor that they're wearing, the swords, how the swords are built. But deep in lore, kind of like how Destiny's weapons are in lore. They do the same thing in this game.
Well, that's cool.
Now
So-
with someone who doesn't normally play solo player games, my thing would be, it's not just the back behind view of things. There's a bunch of different mini games type deal in the game, like climbing puzzles, which is indicative of solo player games. The lore
Adding
itself.
a fox.
Yeah. Okay, so when she brought that up, I don't know. I haven't gotten to the point where I got a pet fox, but I do know that in the game, the fox is big in Japanese lore. You follow the fox. The fox takes you to a prayer area, and it gives you a boost in whatever you
is
pray
it
to.
a
Like,
fox or a tanuki?
it's a tanuki. It's a tanuki.
Yeah, oh, it's a tanuki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna buy the
Um,
game now.
That's all you needed to say. You don't need to sell me on anything else. I'm done. I'm getting it.
So and then they but it's indicative of a back behind Tomb Raider-esque game, but deep in real lore, real Japanese lore. Not they bring up Onis and stuff like that, but it's not like anything crazy like how you're fighting Oni in like that scene that you saw right there was a flashback and a memory, but it was still a real person in a mask. Where Sekiro,
Yeah.
You're fighting
Um,
actual demons.
Yeah,
Monsters
fighting,
and
yeah.
demons, yeah.
So you give this 4 out of 5.
Yes, but that like if that's at the time I'm in right now, but with more time into it, I would give it a 5 out of 5. But my honest review is I wanted to get in and play the game, but there was just a lot
So
of
story
cutscenes.
pacing is what you're getting
Yeah.
at. They kind of pace it
Yep.
because like it's great to have that story, but I see where you're coming from a story perspective. You can't front load all of the information.
Mhm.
Like people want it, and with a game like this, they're gonna get to it, but you kind of gotta. I think like Jedi: The Fallen Order, for example.
Right.
Like they kind of the Star Wars game kind of gave you a chance to play with it, get into it, get going, and then they started getting to some deeper exposition as you went in.
Right.
Like you get to that second story adventure area, second planet, and then they really throw a lot at you at that point. So I think that's a better pacing strategy. I see where you're coming from there.
So that brings up a good point. So I actually turned on my stream a little bit earlier this week. Not the last Guardian, the one prior to that, Shadow of Colossus, and that's exactly what turned me off. Is I spent about
Right.
10 minutes waiting to play the game, and then they gave me a sword that can shine and made no reason for me to actually try. And I've heard so many good things about the game, but I spent 5 minutes just waiting.
I mean, I
there's
get
nothing
it.
to
The
do.
developers, man, developers get excited. Like I'm working on a game now and dialogue and things like that, and it's like the temptation is just like, here it all is. Here's our amazing story, guys. You're gonna love it. It's so great. And maybe it is, right? But you have to pace it for a video game, for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, like I totally dug it.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of pacing in video games, how does that relate to games that we've loved from the 90s and from our childhood to
For
how games
nostalgia's
are
sake.
now for nostalgia's sake? So this is our big ticket item tonight, guys, talking about everything we love from childhood and growing up, and things that we remember and whether or not they hold up today or not. Just we wanted to have a fun discussion on things we enjoyed growing up.
Right.
Fun discussion. Totally going to be a discussion.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
this is going to be a good one. Like the idea of this discussion, guys, we've had some really heated debates, and some of our episodes, we've had some crazy stuff. This isn't really about that. Tonight's discussion, we're just kind of taking a look back, right? I mean, yeah, we'll compare it to stuff that's out now a little bit, and give you guys our take on things and the state of the industry. But at the same time, like, man, looking back, we had these rose-colored glasses as we're looking back into the past. We have nostalgia that's framing everything we're looking at. What happens when you revisit some of those experiences? What is it like now with the information we have, with the media we're used to consuming now, with the things that we know now? Is that still something that when we go back to it, we still enjoy, we still love? You
Yep.
know, like the McRib, right? We always question, is that still going to be good? And it is
Hey,
every time.
hey.
It is every time.
The McRib is a national treasure.
Yeah,
Again.
Like
exactly.
Seinfeld?
Defending
Come
it. I'm
on.
defending it.
And Jerry Seinfeld.
It's gone for so long, and we remember it so fondly, and then after a while, you start to question, well, would it still be good now, based on what I've eaten lately? And it is, in a lot of
Tony,
cases, just
you're
as
a
good.
bad human being.
So Penn, let's start with you. What did you play, watch? What did you do this week?
So I did a couple things. When Grenade brought up this as the topic, I got really stoked and excited.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So, I just read we put in Discord. I was gonna read that out loud. We just put in
Don't.
Discord Grenade. Yeah. So I got really excited about this, the concept for this episode, because, like, I still dwell on the past a little bit, and I wanted to revisit. So one of the things that I did is I played Morrowind a little bit this week.
Ooh.
I spent a couple hours in there, made a character, walked around. Here's the trailer now. This is the OG E3 trailer for Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, when it came out way back in the day. Look at this, guys. So you're
The
gonna
best
see
graphics you've ever seen, and at the time, it actually probably was.
At the time was very close. It was some of the best that we'd seen, especially on Xbox. There wasn't anything looked like this at the time for 3D graphics.
Mhm.
Nothing looked close to this. I wish you guys could hear the music. Ba 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 ba. I'll never forget this song. This was this giant 3D open world environment, that sucks you into this massive world from Vardenfell up to wherever else. Like, it was this crazy open space. Of course, now open world games are a dime a dozen, right? But back then, coming from Daggerfall to this was such a giant leap. It just blew my mind, and I played it so many times. I made so many different characters because they all mattered. Like the story, the people, the things that you did, the decisions that you made in the gameplay, not just conversationally, but that you did in the gameplay. Like, for example, if you became a vampire, you got bit by a vampire, right? And you became a vampire, it changed the rest of your playthrough huge. You now had to live life on the lam. You had to steal from people because shopkeepers wouldn't sell you stuff. Doors would shut in your faces, so you didn't have access to a bunch of quest lines. It was completely different gameplay from what you would experience if you weren't a vampire, for example. And so that added to, like, the complex economy was great. But here's the key thing. Here's the key thing about the game that we've lost track of in the modern gaming days for RPGs, and that was you had to go and find it. And I really missed that, especially with the puzzles that you'd find when you get there to add another degree, another layer of difficulty. In this game, somebody would literally say, well, this thing that I need you to go find for me because I'm stuck here taking care of my sick kid is going to be to the north and then east and then around a rock, and there's a white bush and there's going to be a cave, and you got to go in the cave.
Which
That was great.
That's absolutely epic, and I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
Makes me think of EverQuest, which has a very
right.
similar classic
All those
EverQuest.
classic RPGs, right? Where you had there was an adventure. You went when you left town in Morrowind, you had to be ready for an adventure. You couldn't fast travel back, right? You couldn't just like bring everything. You had to bring, okay, what am I going to need for this? Let me prepare for my adventure. You prepare for your adventure, and things were expensive in this game. Like I said, the economy it felt more like an actual economy that you had to work on. You had to actually go and get fame to get money. You had to actually do things for people. You had to because things were so expensive, right? But then once you managed it and you were able to get what you needed for the gear, you could go on these little adventures, and they were proper adventures. You'd encounter random things on the way in the environment. You'd have some kind of difficult puzzle to solve, and if you explored around, you'd find other mysteries and things that you didn't expect. It was an actual adventure. It was outstanding.
Instead of marking exactly where on the map that it is, and
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
because
just run here,
you
just
fast
run here,
forward to
just run here.
Skyrim 2 games later, right? And they don't give you anything. They just said, "Here, let me mark it on your map for you."
True.
And you don't have to prepare because, "Oh shit, I didn't bring something." Fast travel.
That's something
Fast travel.
that's something I appreciate about it. Death Stranding is like, sure, there is an element of fast travel, but you still have to prepare for some stuff. Like that World War II scene, I was not prepared to go into that. I had to go reload a different save in order to build up some weapons to go into that. So I can see that though, how games have changed to where people don't experience the adventure for being the adventure that it is.
So I would say that's kind of a quality of life thing. So you make that happen now, people complain. If you go
I
into
have to walk.
Oh yeah, no, it's not even that. You go into a game and they talk about how the path that they're giving you, they give you a very brief or low description, and you find people not interested in playing. They get lost, they get confused, they don't want to go on and continue, and that just goes to show how gamers have changed. I mean, you go back to some of the older gamers like you, me. I say older, but not really that.
Oh, I'm
But,
practically a grandpa for gaming.
oh yeah,
too.
you're old. Fine, you're old. I'm not calling myself old. Um, but you go back to those older games, EverQuest, Dark Ages of Camelot. I'm talking classic MMOs because that's what I grew up on. Shadowbane, and then you go into Morrowind. I can't say Fable. Fable doesn't count. Fable had that little was one of the first ones with the little golden.
It had a literal golden trail.
I bring this up
totally.
almost every week, but Ocarina of Time, right?
Heck yes, Ocarina of Time.
They told you where to go, but there was never a quest marker there, right?
And it was hard, and it was difficult, and it was beautiful. And people like the simplicity. That's something that changed a lot with some of the bigger games that came out. World of Warcraft is a very good example in the MMO community, where it went from you had EverQuest, you had Dayak, you have Shadowbane, you have Nine Dragons, you have all of these huge, giant games that just make it incredibly difficult. Your leveling up takes time and patience and weeks of trying, even if you play it all day, to games where you're snap 3-4 hours in, suddenly you're almost halfway to max. And in the simplicity, it's dangerous. That's dangerous for games. It makes it too easy. It's where people find themselves playing games like Bloodborne, like Ghost of Tsushima, or whatever it's named, because they want that challenging.
So
yeah, I mean, it's not just about the challenge; it's about the experience. So that's kind of what I went to there was the RPG stuff, and then the other thing I looked at was not early, but like late '90s and early 2000s science fiction.
Oh my man.
That's the topics, man, that I've never gotten out of that stage is the whole thing. So I mean, yes, I look back at it fondly, and it was fun to kind of look through some stuff. Like I popped in randomly just a Voyager, like a random season 3.
I love Voyager. I think
and-
I've rewatched Voyager in the last 5 years like 3 times. Like all the way
Voyager,
through, start to
I
finish,
watched
all
the
7
Battlestar
seasons.
Galactica. I wish I had some Andromeda that I could watch. I kind of wanted to
It's
look at
on
that.
there. It's on there.
It's on there. Yeah. I kind of want to watch some of that, like Far Escape, Stargate. That's what we're talking about, those kinds of shows.
Yep.
So those, like, we're talking about how, like, we already kind of answered the question about whether or not, like, classic RPGs like Morrowind will hold up today. They were different games, right? And going back to them, you don't have those same experiences now. So those still hold up. But do those classic sci-fi shows hold up? And I got to say, guys, that, like, I love Westworld, and I really liked Altered Carbon, and The Expanse is fantastic, but they're so heavy It's so heavy. Like you watch it and it's just like it's great. I'm interested. I'm invested, but it's almost takes an emotional toll, if you will.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, but that's different, right? You go back to Andromeda, you got fucking Kevin Sorbo
Right.
leading the show, right?
And there's
it's
all
fun
these
to watch.
comedy elements to it. You know, I feel like the algorithm almost for storytelling of those 90s, early 2000s sci-fi shows is a little different. I mean, Battlestar Galactica kind of took on a different story arc way, but like if you look at all the Star Treks, it was more of like, here's standalone episodes with a grander overarching story plot, right? Instead of the story plot being what the show is. And like with Stargate Universe, I feel like that's where it went wrong, where it wasn't these standalone ones anymore. It was just the story plot, right?
Wait,
Right.
talking about the sci-fi shows. Like I love sci-fi, I really do. But the shows back then, like Andromeda, I never watched Stargate. I enjoyed the movies. I really, really enjoyed the movie. I'm sorry, not movies, movie. I thought that was super rad. Never got into the series. But when you're talking about stuff like Andromeda, Farscape, like I said, I love Farscape because it had that campiness to it. Kevin Sorbo, anything he was in had that campiness to it. You know, it just, you were happy to watch it. You wanted to see what shenanigans they were going to get into the next week. And I think, like, what was that sci-fi show that was underwater? Sea Lab, not Sea Lab.
Sequest DSV.
Yes, Sequest
Yes,
to me was like
Sequest
one of those
DSV.
was one of those first series that like had that seriousness to it, aside from the remake of Battlestar Galactica, which Battlestar was awesome. I truly enjoyed it. Even the one from was it the 70s that it was on?
The OG BSG.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well. But the campiness from like the Stargates, the Andromedas, even V, the remake of V was good. You know, like
Yeah.
the
You had shows that combined that, right? Like
Exactly.
Atlantis kind of combined some of the campiness from like the early SG1s with like some of the
Which
stuff
was
that had come
very
out.
campy.
Yeah, Firefly, right?
Yeah.
It blended all of that together. Like that's still a fan favorite, right? People are hearing Firefly, their ears are perking up right now, right? All over
Yeah.
the place because Firefly, right? All these other nerdy shows. That's one that like brought it all together, brought the nerds, everybody all together.
There's one show I think we keep forgetting to mention that kind of still does it today. I think it's the only one that's still doing it today. No one's talking about Doctor Who. No one has mentioned Doctor Who. Sci-fi show. Hey, sir. Sci-fi show that has existed for more than 50 years.
It has, and
So
the early
inconsistent,
Doctor
though.
Who,
It's so good.
the early Doctor Who,
Doctor
the
Who is
OG Doctor Who was very campy, was very goofy, very British comedy. And the
Great.
newer ones, I feel like, have gone away from that. The first 3 seasons of the new one, including the
9
David
and 10.
Tennant ones,
11.
were still very campy, but really kind of went more towards a single storyline. And I feel like that show has evolved since its early days.
To me, I tried watching Doctor Who. I mean, I heard a lot of stuff about it, and I couldn't wrap myself around it. It's not that it's British or anything like that. Like we brought up Sliders earlier. Sliders was awesome because it had the overall story arc, just like Doctor Who did. But once they started trading out people like Jerry O'Connell for his brother to be Jerry O'Connell, that's when it started going downhill. Like at the same point in time, changing out the Doctors because it's from a different multiverse just to keep the story going got lame to me. And like I love Sliders.
I made a few missteps. Like I like the Eccleston years because it fit in with a lot of the stuff I was already watching, the early 2000s sci-fi, that kind of stuff. So the Eccleston years were right in line with what I was into. But then you move on to the next Doctor, and it's a totally different flavor,
which is great.
Okay. Yeah, it's great unless you liked the flavor you were eating.
Yeah,
right?
I loved 9, so I love 9.
Yeah.
But you got to sample it. You can't just take one basic sample, like a spoonful, and say, oh, it's good or it's bad. After you watch a Doctor, where you've been eating like banana pudding, and then suddenly you're eating chocolate cake, and things don't taste right. You got to keep eating the cake and get the chocolate pudding out of your mind, or banana pudding out of your mind.
Now I do like though what they did with.
And I hate banana pudding.
I do like what they did with Doctor Who when they did the crossover movie leading up to the latest female Doctor that there is, where
It was
you
so
you
good.
brought in all of the multiverse of Doctors and they were all doing different things. I really appreciated that because it was very nostalgic, right? Like
Yeah.
you
I
got
love
to
nostalgia.
see
It's
the
all about
original
nostalgia.
Doctors. You got to see all these other Doctors that they brought in, and it was Doctor Who.
Yeah, Tenet was good too, for sure. Joe put that in there.
Tenet.
So to your point though, Raccoon, you are correct. Like we have to at least mention Doctor Who, even though it's the state it's in now, with these shows we're talking about from the early 2000s, because it's
Sure.
the only thing on the air that compares.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything else that compares to the classic sci-fi, and you can't just think like, well, nobody liked those shows, because when you look back to Stargate SG-1 with 10 seasons, Voyager had 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like these shows were wildly successful.
Bringing that up, you say Voyager, right? All the Star Treks I have personally always been a fan of. It's the new series that, like, the new series itself is visually awesome.
That's a great topic to bring up. By the way, Grenade, I appreciate you bringing up Star Trek, because we can actually compare Star Trek to Star Trek now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Old
Like
with
the new
new.
series, is
Discovery.
is visually awesome, but the storyline behind it, like, how do I not say it without spoilers? Like, the storyline behind it itself is a little too serious, where Star Trek has always had that underlying campiness, you know.
And they're trying to do the modern thing where it is,
Yeah.
and that's what we were saying earlier, that sci-fi shows are very serious now. There's not that
Mhm.
campy feel to
Right.
it like there was. Doctor Who may be an
Star Trek
exception.
got serious
but-
in the Voyager years, right? But not like
Oh,
today.
later,
It got
though.
serious for its time. DS9
Yeah.
was.
But it was
Star
still
Trek's
kind
down
of
star for a long time.
anthology where you had the major story arc, but each episode was kind of standalone for the most part.
Mhm.
Yeah, you had the
Um,
episodic instead of the serial story.
Exactly.
And then, did anybody see Picard by any chance?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
Okay,
did.
so
I ate that.
if you, I loved it just because it was Picard, right? And it had the
Mhm.
Borg in it, and it had the whole super android type deal in it, right? But I did not like the seriousness of it. I would like to see Picard playing Picard from Enterprise. You know what I mean? Not Enterprise.
Oh yeah,
I'm
from
sorry.
Next Generation.
Yeah, Next
Well,
Generation.
the topic there to talk about is the loss of the humanist principles, right? I think
Mhm.
we've, as a society, we've given up on the notion, right? Like it's not as appealing to so many people now, just to like think like, oh, we're just gonna magically, because of technological advancement, we're suddenly gonna be nice to each other and cure all diseases and live in this utopian planet Earth. And that's a much more difficult concept to grasp and believe in right now. Actually, very little sci-fi dwells on that, which made Star Trek unique in its space back in the day, and is
Right.
kind of what helped it become so great. But even the original
Dude.
Star Trek wasn't super utopian. It wasn't until Next Generation that Roddenberry kind of got on this super high horse and was like, everybody's perfect. There's no character flaws. Everybody's perfect. And he was rejecting, the stories are that he was rejecting scripts left and right. Like, no, Riker wouldn't do that because he's perfect.
Mhm.
So there was no interpersonal character drama in the first 2 seasons of Next Generation, right?
Very true.
But
You watch those and
eventually-
it's like, this is kind of boring.
This
First
is
two
there's
seasons.
no interpersonal conflict, and at the end of the day, these are TV shows, right, Clink? Like, you want to have
Correct.
some of that drama and conflict, and
Would
it
you-
wasn't existing. So nowadays, we've gone to the other end of the spectrum where that's all there is, right? Like in Battlestar Galactica, for example, rewatching that with Angie, I've forgotten like how many seasons it's taking to get Lee and Kara to figure their shit out. Right, Leodama
take a long time.
And Kara Thrace, like, holy shit,
Yep.
Starbuck and Apollo, like, it's taken forever for them to figure their shit out. And, like,
Even then, I'm sorry. The fact
Yeah.
that you're bringing that up, like, even then, the love triangles you saw in campy science fiction and stuff like that back then weren't as bad as like you see stuff nowadays, like in the Flash or Arrow and stuff like that. Like, you didn't
That's
mind
fair.
watching it. You know, you were like, I hope these guys get together. And then in the new shows, because it's so serious, like, this is just getting old. Every episode's about it. About this love triangle. I'm tired of seeing it. Like, it's a love triangle with the Flash in it instead of Star Trek with these people possibly getting together. Everything nowadays I think is so away from the actual science fiction story of what happened when we were younger, that it's just it's not, a lot of shit's not fun to watch anymore.
Well, you're starting to see some of it. There's a couple episodes I want to point out from recent stuff that harken back to those days, like in the Star Trek Discovery episode, The Battle of the Binary Stars. that
Mhm.
just reminded me of classic science fiction shows because they used to do a really good job of having this science fiction backdrop to the story and within that episodic format where you would have this really cool story about a collapsing supernova that was going to point the way to Earth, like in Battlestar Galactica or whatever. You'd have something cool like that going on instead of just like this ongoing continuing story where it's focused hyper focused on the crew and their drama. And Discovery did
Right.
a lot of that hyper focus on that stuff, but they did have that episode like Battle of the Binary Stars, for example, where there's these two stars together are locked in this dance that's going to end in this cataclysmic explosion to someday, and they were there to research that and get into it, and you're looking at the
Mhm.
science, and then you tell your story with that as the backdrop, and that's really dope. Expanse does that quite a bit as
They
well.
really
Expanse
do,
likes
yeah.
to have like asteroid belts and all these other science fiction backdrop elements to really draw you into their universe in a really cool way. Cowboy Bebop crushed it back in the day with the same thing, with having like this really interesting and layered and textured backdrop and setting that was almost a character in and of itself.
And
Yeah.
speaking of early 2000s, 90s anime,
Yes,
such as
we can
Cowboy
transition
Bebop.
to anime, Raccoon. I know you're excited too.
So,
So
so
Uh,
I watched a little bit of Pokemon, watched a little bit of not Wolverine guy Kev, but I did watch a little bit of Hey Arnold as well. Enjoyed that very much. I couldn't figure out what decade Hey Arnold actually took place in, because there's payphones and there's other things like, was it 90s, late 80s? I'm not sure, but
it is
anyway.
tough, especially if the vehicle is his uncle drives.
So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching both of those. I felt very nostalgic over the whole thing, but really we wanted to talk about anime, and seeing Pokemon again. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, the anime. I have thoughts too about the anime. Didn't talk about it in the pre-production meeting, but I actually got hooked on anime back in those days, the same period that we're talking about, because of things like Cowboy Bebop and Gundam and things of that nature. And
Outlaw Star.
I'm having a really, really difficult time finding those same experiences in anime
It's true. So
nowadays.
Raccoon, you said you watched.
Outlaw Star. So this last week I went back into it randomly. I had totally forgotten about the
Mhm.
nostalgia thing, so it was kind of actually a good timing for this. Um, I took a week off, guys. Apologize.
Honestly, I like it.
Yeah. So Outlaw Star, awesome setup, old series back from the 90s. Classic characters. The art style is very 90s, as we've mentioned previously in our pre-production meeting. It's unique in its efficiency. It's unique in its angles. It's not always the best because those old-timey animations were
Mhm.
drawn by hand and they weren't always perfect. But the
Yeah,
story,
like the noodle arms, right?
yeah,
From
the noodle
90s.
arms, the face is what kills me. The faces. You see eyes like at weird angles, cornered. Oh god, like it was hard to watch sometimes. But where it really takes off is like the space battles, the arms on the ships ripping each other ships apart.
I just can't stand Gene. Gene's such a little. He's an
I
asshole,
want
man.
his tattoo. He is fantastic. I love that guy.
Gene,
Oh my God.
like, he's always like, oh, we should do the right thing, but nah, we're just gonna do our own thing. I'm good.
You mentioned
He's-
Gene, and
he's
I
just
think
a
of
little-
Samurai Champloo right away.
he's a little
that's
baby.
just me.
I can't stand the Gene character in that show.
Oh, that so hurts. That hurts.
But-
He's so good. But the characters all have interesting dynamics. They play their roles. Something that is a little bit different than today's anime is you had characters that
Mhm.
were the sidekick. You had the character that was the main character. You had the overarching enemy, and it was simple. You knew what was going in. You were going into. You knew that you're going to watch an episode. Something bad was going to happen because of the next place they went to, and the character's going to evolve a little bit, and then they'll be back to the same idiot asshole from the next episode. I mean, it just repeats and repeats until you get to the end of the show. The character dynamics, now this applies to all of the anime from that time period. It was moody. All of our heroes were moody. Hero from Gundam Wing, Troa from Gundam Wing, Outlaw Stars, Jean. It doesn't matter. Any show from that time period, the main character is moody because it was cool. It was part of the style.
It was cool to be seen, right?
Mhm.
SCENE. You were seen back
Yeah.
then. You
Yeah.
remember?
I still rock the hair. I mean.
Yeah.
Try Trigun.
Trigun.
Yeah.
He
Well,
was
no.
not moody. He was broke through and through. Hey, that was
He's
always
Goku.
Yeah.
He was
He's
always
Goku.
happy.
You got one or the other. You got Goku,
Bash.
or you got
Vash is probably one of the coolest fucking characters from the 90s.
Vash the Stampede was cool.
Yeah, man, him and
Mhm.
Ichigo, man, were like always sitting there going, "Oh yeah."
Ichigo was more of the aughts, though. He was definitely heading towards the aughts. I only caught him at the very end.
And then fucking dude, I just love Trigun so much. It was just such a good
so
show.
good.
I had a
Bash
hard
was-
time. That one didn't hold up. I tried watching it a little while ago with Angie, and I had a difficult time now. I loved it when I was younger, but I had a more difficult time watching it now. Like,
They're all
don't know.
incredibly raunchy in ways that I never expected to watch. when I
well, yeah, a
watched.
lot of them were raunchy too. Helsing was unique and cool, and
I loved Hellsing.
there was a lot of cool stuff back
but
then.
he was super moody. Super moody.
Alucard, yeah, dude,
Yeah,
Alucard, not
Alucard
just
was moody.
Alucard, but Integra was
Mhm.
seen as fuck.
Yeah.
If you go into Inuyasha, you have Shishomaru. I mean, it's a
God,
very-
dude.
You want to go
You
super
watch it.
scene, ergo
not
proxy.
Ergo Proxy. Holy hell. I had that song on my phone. I rewatched that series 4 times, and it still makes almost no sense.
It makes no
Still
sense
makes
at
no
all.
almost no sense. It's so
it, made,
good.
it made more sense than Excel Saga. I can tell you that.
Oh, jeez.
Well, so Grenade, you said you watched not really 90s anime, but you watched 90s cartoons this week, right?
So like we were doing the whole nostalgia thing, the for nostalgia's sake. So I went back, and this was actually one of the greatest times too, for one of our podcasts for research, because I got to sit there and we had the conversation not too long ago about stuff we watched with our kids or as kids, and then we get to see it like with our kids now. Like so this week has been actually a lot of fun. It's some time I got to sit down and I put on X-Men. I started off with the
Oh
X-Men.
man,
I've had my
Which
son
one?
watch it, just the old series.
yeah.
The one with the super, yeah, exactly, the super rad intro. I've introduced my son to this show a couple times, right? We sat there, and every time that came on, right? Every time he heard that theme song, he got up and started dancing. He's the world's first dancer. He's like this the whole time. But as soon as the intro was over, he kind of got bored, But as going back watching it, like how they projected some of the characters, it was honestly like
It was
kind of hard
heavy.
to swallow, yeah, but it was also
Yeah.
hard to swallow at the same time, because like what you see nowadays, like the acting even in fucking cartoons is so much better than it was back then. But
Oh gosh,
back
the acting
then-
Storm in that
Oh,
show.
yeah.
I know what I must do.
exactly, like what they did with Jubilee, like I couldn't remember how bad Jubilee as a character was back then. You know what I mean? The fireworks going off from her hands, like, and then
She
we
was-
brought on the Turtles. The Turtles was so fucking rad because that theme song was awesome too. And back in that day, you had like fucking 90 minutes to sit down and write a fucking theme song to something. But my son was heavily invested into the Turtles. We got all the way up to when
Yeah.
Krang brought in the dome. I forgot what the dome was called. I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh no, with the eye on top of it, and then the little cyberpunk kids came out of nowhere in the car. He loved it, all of it. And then we went back to watching The Lion King. And you know what? I went back and I was Technodrome. Thanks you, Tony. But I went back and I was watching The Lion King. And if you guys haven't done that recently, go watch that. I forgot how colorful that fucking movie
Oh,
was.
it's super colorful.
It's my
that was-
son. Yeah,
That was
my
one of the best animated films ever.
exactly. Like it started off with me just feeding him and putting it on just to keep him busy so I could do some chores. Right. I sat there the whole movie on my bad knee that was hurting, watching the movie with him, and I started singing to him. And I remembered he's over there doing the same dance, just happy looking at me. And I'm singing to him too in my horrible dad voice, and he was digging it. And the best part about it was like I could see the happiness that I had watching that show when I was younger, not at his age, but I love that movie. We watched one of my favorite movies of all time, and I loved it. It was a Goofy movie, man. Goofy movie.
Oh yeah, dude.
Was
Leaning
so
Tower of Cheese.
Pauly
that
Shore.
movie. Yes. Yes. Why would you put Pauly Shore in a kids movie? But yes.
Perfect. It was perfect, right? And then what was it? A power line, dude. I still remember when power line pops out and starts singing because I'm over there going like this, doing the same thing, and my son's dancing with me. It, like those feelings are the happy feelings that I had when I was a kid, and
Mhm.
to be able to experience that with my son was super cool. And he was just, and it's the things that made me happy too. I don't know about everybody else, but the theme songs, the music, everything like that, like how literally
Mhm.
a Goofy movie was about. And Mickey doesn't have shit on Goofy. You got a dude trying to take care of his dad or his son, trying to like
Right.
make the best relationship ever, and it's a solo dad. And back then, you never saw that. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
didn't see any movies about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
And he was just
Mhm.
he was loving every second of that movie. I put on um uh Thundercats. He liked the intro, got bored, whatever, but the intro was cool,
Fair.
you know. GI Joe intro, got bored. um
Yeah, there's not enough
G.I.
craziness now.
Joe.
My kid's a
exactly.
little bit older than your kid. My kid's gonna be 11 in August, and I watched the X-Men with her, kind of looking to have that same experience. She's a little bit older, but even being a little bit older, she wasn't like huge into it. She was just
Right,
more of like, hey, your mom and dad are kind of into it. But she's used to consuming content just in a different way. I don't think those
right.
shows will ever make a comeback because of it.
But at the same point in time, stuff like that, like, I can tell you now that there's so many things and you can ask Joe, man. I went to high school with Joe Lincoln here, right? He was a grade above me. Back in that day, it was about getting home and getting on Tanami so you could watch Bleach or Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball
Or,
Z.
or waking up at fucking 5 in the morning on a Saturday to watch their Saturday morning cartoons.
For
You know what I
me,
mean?
it was
Shaman King.
wake up at 6 a.m. before I had to leave for school at 7 to play an hour of Aladdin or Lion King on my SNES.
Yes, nice.
Yep.
I would sit there and I would play that
Mhm.
game with my cousin, man, like, on the Sega, like,
Yep.
and I tell you what now, man, Lion King was fucking hard, dude, to tell you the
That's
truth.
a
That was a
hard
really
game.
Aladdin
fucking
was too.
yeah,
Getting out of
Or
that
Super
cave.
Star Wars. You guys remember Super Star Wars on Super Nintendo?
but,
Cool.
like,
Yeah, speaking of like the old consoles, like I just came across an image. Just wanted to bring this guys up. Do you guys remember the N64 kiosks in McDonald's?
yeah,
Yeah.
You guys remember those? I came across
uh-huh,
an image. There's apparently one McDonald's that still has one, and some guy took a picture
Really?
that's
Wow.
amazing.
and shared it. And it's just like, the 90s for media and for content was just such a different time. Like they had it
Right,
down. They knew when we were getting out of school, so when to air shows on Central or
right,
Eastern or whatever. They had it down to the wire. Like these kids are going to be home by 4:30, so we're going to run this show, then we're going to run this show, and then this show, and then you'd have your Star Trek Voyager would come on 8 p.m. Central Time or
mhm.
whatever on Wednesdays on UPN. We had our whole lives were scheduled around this content, right?
Dude,
Like it's
Fridays at 9, man, on Sci-Fi, dude,
Not us.
like
Because
yeah.
everything was live. This was before TiVo, even, right? Like,
And you waited
TiVo
a
was
week.
the new greatest thing that I could sit, like, we could record stuff,
Do you guys
finally.
remember
But
episode disappointment? Do you guys remember like waiting a week? It's been a week since I watched the last Voyager episode. Great, they're doing another Neelix episode, right? Like
totally, bro, right?
you know what I mean? Like a lot of shows, they had these moments where like,
I
oh god
love
damn it, this.
Neelix. Come
I know it's just
Oh,
an
on.
example. You know what I
Come
mean? Like
on.
But, like, back
that,
then,
that
dude,
disappointment, right?
like when you're younger though, like I had every opportunity. I'm not gonna say I didn't party at all, like because I did, but there's so many times I would have rather have just been home watching like Farscape, or I knew I could be up early to watch the fucking cartoons. My girlfriend still gets on me, and I'm fucking 33 or 34, I'm not sure. Um, and I still watch fucking cartoons. I go to bed watching cartoons. Like, and how they were back then are so much different than now today. Everything's so fucking
Yeah.
serious. Like back then, dude, you could watch a movie and you remember like the feeling in your heart of just being happy. Like Outlaw Star. I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
when that show fired off, or when you hear Ergo Proxy, right? That theme song fires off. The only you could be in the worst fucking mood ever, and you hear
Right.
that theme song and it brings a smile to your face. The only show that does that for me right now is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like I
That's
hear that.
fair.
I'm fucking stoked. Everything else is just so serious, you know?
I think The Ranch is kind of a good example of like modern television trying to rectify it, right? Because you had
Right?
a whole cast of characters basically that was in a show from back then that was all about that campy entertainment and
Mhm.
cheap laughs, and it was just fun to watch, and you could put it down, pick it up, whatever you wanted to do. The Ranch brought the two together, right? Like that show drops bombs on you, dude. Like, oh, this
Right.
character's dead, or this guy's going to jail, or I'm pregnant, or these huge drops, and they're using real language, or saying fuck, they're saying these things,
Every whiskey,
but you
every
still have the stupid jokes, right?
yeah.
Like, hey, I found a use for that cavity in my molar. I keep some extra dip packed in there.
Right.
It's like dip for later. I can work it out with my tongue. That's a joke. That they tell in the show. It's just this stupid
And you're
campy
right.
stuff.
That's another show I would turn on as soon as I hear "Mama, don't let your."
Yeah, you
I
start
would-
hearing Willie Nelson sing. Hey, it's gonna be a good day. It had the same feelings, but it's
You
still done to today's standards, right? So I think they
Exactly.
can do it, right?
It's possible. It's 100% possible. That's why I'm a huge fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, it's
Right.
goofy. It's a half hour of just sheer goofiness. I get excited for October episodes because that's when they do the heist.
They
You
do the
know,
heist.
yeah.
Yes, the heist.
Like, but I feel like you don't like nowadays. You connect to the story versus Joe Link, Futurama. Man, I could quote every single episode. One of the saddest fucking series or episodes in TV history is one.
Unfortunate.
Is a dog. You know,
Yep.
That's
Uh,
fair.
it's
That's fair.
so sad. You connected to those characters because you wanted to see the next week.
That's a
Now,
good
now I
example.
feel like you connect to like the series. Like, okay, like you look at our Altered Carbon, right? You watch it, you like it, it's over, you move on.
Yep.
Back then,
That's
you were like,
fair.
you know,
You
back
waited
then,
for the next episode, right? We didn't have DVR, we didn't have streaming, we didn't have any of this stuff. It was this almost like FOMO of like I have to be at my house at 6 p.m. to watch
Have
this
to be-
show.
Right. But
honestly,
is that the format though? Like that's the conversation I've seen brought up for years now. Has the binge watching format destroyed our ability to process? Because we used to process and talk about it. Well, I would watch Dragon Ball Z so that when I on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, so that when I go on Monday morning to school, I could talk about it with my friends.
Well,
And
and
you're
now
processing it and you're thinking about it.
now it's not talking about the singular episodes anymore. It's talking about the show as a whole, right?
right?
So you have
That's
this
the thing.
binge mentality, and you watch the show as a
But-
whole, and then you talk about the story arcs in
But my
between
social
this
sphere
book.
isn't involved though, is the point. Because back then your social sphere was involved. It's what was happening.
Yeah.
It was the zeitgeist. Now, like for example, Grenade hadn't seen Hannah yet. That's a great example, right? So he and I, if this was back in the early 2000s and Hannah had come out, he and I would have already been talking about every episode after it happened. Like, oh, did you see what happened? Yeah, dude, isn't this fucked up or wasn't this cool? Like, that's what conversations used to be. We thought about it, we processed it, we committed it to memory. Now, I I don't remember. Sometimes I'm watching a show that I've binge watched,
Mhm. I-
and I'm going, like, wait, I didn't remember that episode, and I don't remember this happening, and this character. You know what I mean?
And too partially, I feel like the one of the reasons why Game of Thrones did so good, and I'm not a fan of the end of it. No, we could bitch about that later on, but part of the reason why I think Game of Thrones did so well, one, it was a great series and a great story, but it was every week. You had to
Right.
wait.
It captured
Yeah.
that, right? It had that
Exactly.
whole water cooler. Everybody's gonna stand around at the office and
Right.
talk about
Exactly.
what Cersei did that week.
I just ignored him.
You just
Yeah.
ignored them.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed Game of Thrones too, though.
A lot of people waited to binge it, right? But I
Mhm.
loved that experience of I
Same
was
here.
working at the casino, right? And I could go and talk to them at my coworkers at the casino. We would literally chat about that in the break room. Like, hey, what happened in Game of Thrones? It was something that kind of brought some of us together that had nothing else in common. Sometimes it was just something to talk about. But nowadays, you know, that's rarer and rarer. So it's like again with
Mhm.
Hannah, like I don't have anybody to talk about Hannah with except for Clink now, you know. But my social sphere, it's not in everybody's mind because we consume content at our own pace, on our own way.
I mean, I
which is
think
great, and
I've
it's
binged
awesome,
through 6 shows in
but-
the last 3 days. You know, like full
Are we going to be
seasons.
nostalgic about Hannah 10 years from now, like
Probably
I
not.
am about Andromeda? Even though
Probably not.
Hannah's the better show.
Now,
right?
can I ask you guys an ultimate question with that one though?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously that's nostalgia's sake, right? Now, okay, so say you were the same age now, right?
Mhm.
And you're watching Hannah, okay? You're the same age you were when you're watching Andromeda. Do you think when you got older that Hannah would have the same effect versus how you watched Andromeda?
No, because you're
Be-
moving on to the next episode, the next season, the next series, like
Right.
that, right?
You're popping on.
it doesn't hold that same reverence almost, right? Like it's here and gone, it's here and gone, it's here and gone. Is how
There is
things are consumed
exceptions. There's exceptions because you find shows, even over the last few years, The Office, My Hero Academia,
Hey, The Office,
other
you're
shows like that,
right.
that have released, like My Hero Academia is a really big one right now in the anime world. Everyone who watches anime, and I say everyone generally, knows what it is and it's talking about it and wants to know what's happening next. And that show is going to be around 10 years from now because we're all going to be remembering this as the DBZ of that past. And that's, I mean, I'm not saying it's the same show. It's not the same. Dragon Ball Z holds a level on something else.
But people have a reverence about it.
They have a reverence. And there is series like that. They just have to go above and beyond the standards that we had growing up. Like I can think of shows like Dave the Barbarian, one season, funny as hell.
You remember Dave the Barbarian?
I remember Dave the Barbarian.
I've forgotten all about
10
Dave the
points
Barbarian.
in my book. You get
Metabots, Dave the Barbarian.
Wow, you bring you back to memories.
I have all of these memories because I store them because they are great histories in my past. This is what I grew up doing. I didn't go out and party. I spent my time watching these shows, Digimon, all of them.
Digital Monsters, Digimon,
they're freaking amazing. PK all the way. But I grew up with these experiences, and kids nowadays still doing it. They're just having to do it in a different way. They're having to invest in very good series.
Well, they get connections now with real people through YouTube and Twitch and things like that. My daughter, she feels like she knows a couple of these YouTubers like JoJo Siwa and some of these others that she watches. She feels like she knows them, and she kind of does in a way. She at least knows what they're putting out there, and they have these connections. So for them, media is different for Nora because you don't get that same connection just watching a show. That said, she's binge watched Voyager at least twice in her bedroom now with her little DVD player on her own without any encouragement from us. She just takes it back there and watches it because she likes it so much. She likes Neelix too, by the way, Clink. And Cass and Seven. Like she loves that show, and to go back to it and watch it. So I don't know if she's just crazy or if those shows were actually that good, you know?
It's like I remember waiting for on the Sabian network when they would come on Fox. You would get like VR Troopers, Power Rangers, Beetleborgs, all those.
Beetleborgs,
I wish that type of feeling came back.
Yeah, I don't think it can though with the way we consume media.
And it's hard to capture that in today's market, in today's way that we consume content. And I know we've talked about that in previous episodes and how we consume content in video games and movies and TV and
YouTube.
We have more options,
YouTube, right? There's more options.
Gratification.
Yeah, the closest thing we have.
Yeah, I read in the Wall Street Journal the interesting about the psychology of modern day consumerism. Very interesting editorial. I should probably link it to you guys at some point. But anyway, very interesting because nowadays we have a plethora of options, whereas that's what was on Friday, right? Sequest DSV was Thursday at 7 Central Time. It always was. Well, I think it changed to Wednesday at a certain point. But anyway, that was what was on. You didn't have a whole lot of options. Maybe there was a rerun of Golden Girls on one channel, or there was this. We didn't have the options. Now you pop open. You got to make options about what app to open. Right? Am I going into Plex? Am I going into Amazon? Am I going into Netflix? Am I going into HBO? Am I going into Peacock?
Right.
Yeah.
And then once you get in there, what do you have? 20 tiles in front of you. Right? And watch this, watch this, watch this. So what that's creating for us as consumers now, instead of just like, I'm going to go watch this thing that I wanted to watch, now we're judging, we're assessing, we're thinking about it. And that's a whole nother step that we didn't have about the stuff we're talking about. We didn't assess whether or not we wanted to watch Farscape. That wasn't an assessment.
It was just what was on.
It was what was on, and we went and watched it. And then now we're assessing it and we're prejudging it. You know what? I'm not going to watch that. I disagree with it on this level, or I don't want to watch it because of this. And we're justifying our decision to not moving on to the next thing. And we assess that thing. And we're getting more efficient and faster at that process. But that's the process, the psychology that we're going through right now. And it's definitely changing what we're talking about. And trying to get those same emotions and feelings back is more difficult because in order to get amped up and excited about it, like Hannah, going back to that again, Grenade, you weren't even interested in it until you made a connection with something else that you were interested in.
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh, boom, now I want to go watch Hannah. Like light bulb click, but you'd already assessed and decided not to watch that
Yep.
based
Right.
on whatever reasons, right? Whereas again, back in the day, you just would have been like, oh, look, Hannah's on. Boop, boop, let's watch.
And
It's
that's
it's very
Mhm.
interesting where today's culture and the way we consume content has moved to. So
Oh,
I,
man.
I,
good talk tonight, guys.
Wait.
This has
Yeah,
been a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of fun.
Raccoon, what do you got? Just-
One
One
more
last
thing,
thought.
One last thing, and I think this directly ties to us too. So I think one of the rare few places you can actually find these experiences left are YouTube streams, YouTube shows,
Mhm.
Twitch streamers, things like that. Things that are over time, and you have to be there to experience the event. So
Right.
you're waiting for that next episode to drop on YouTube. That is something that is an experience that's often shared across the platform. That's what's advertised to you. That's the first thing you see every time
That's
you come on.
fair. Mm-hmm.
That's one of the only places, like between YouTube and Twitch, that you're going to actually get these experiences still. These in the moment, okay, I got to be there for that because that's going to be special.
Right.
It was a moment.
Glad just two man for soloed Axis with the Warlock. You had to be there to see it. I agree with you 100%. Like the
That's
big,
where it
big,
is.
big
That's a good
things,
point,
man.
Raccoon.
Yep.
Mhm.
Very interesting.
We're not done. We have at least 5 more minutes of talking. I think you didn't talk about what you wanted to talk about because you know what, you saved yourself for last, like a good dude.
Uh-huh.
What you watched is definitely a pinnacle of all of our fucking childhoods as well. So bring it up.
What do you mean with the Halo thing?
No, you're talking about a huge part of any nerd's fucking childhood. He got Halo LAN parties. How many
Okay,
people remember
okay.
Halo
Yes.
LAN parties?
Let me talk
Hey
about that.
Arnold,
Okay. So, Hey Arnold, Doug, like all of these Nickelodeon shows, like that's what I went back and
Banging
wanted to
on a
watch this
trash
week
can.
because that's what I watched as a kid, Even like Nickelodeon Guts and like all these ones that were just like reruns almost of every week of just like fun game shows. Like I loved all that stuff as a kid. And so yes, Nickelodeon was a big part of I think all of our childhoods probably.
Right.
And
Real Monsters.
and looking at Nickelodeon
Actually,
and
now.
what their format is now, I think is much different than what it was then, where it's like you're waiting for the next episode to come on, even if it's a rerun. I cannot wait to watch the next episode of Rugrats, right? And as a kid, you connect with these characters because they're your age. And I think that's much different now with smartphones and binge watching and all these streaming networks, like we've been talking about. But what I wanted to say my favorite story, my favorite nostalgic story is this was 2000, right? And Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace was coming out. And I lived in a small town of 4,000 people. So right after school, I went to the movie theater to go wait in line for the midnight screening of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And of course, waiting in line, it's like, well, what are we going to do? Just sit here and wait for 8 hours, 10 hours while, it's not going to open till midnight. So I went home, I grabbed my big ol' CRT TV and my Xbox and set it up on this island in the middle of the shopping plaza. And then another person brought their CRT TV and Xbox. And then another person. We had 4 CRT TVs, Xboxes, and did Halo LAN party waiting outside the movie theater for Star Wars. And I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. Ever.
Dude, no, we won't because the internet, man. But
Yeah.
that's what takes away from that whole talking to people, dude. I could remember, I would go to my buddy Nathan Homer's house, right? And that's when we all had like the bowl cuts and everything like that. And we would get so bored of playing the game for hours. Like we would stay up drinking fucking Kick and Surge all night long.
Surge!
And we would we'd play Halo and we would play all kinds of games together, but we'd get bored. It'd be the next morning. We'd go out there and we'd start shooting his pellet guns. And I remember one time we were just dicking around. He actually fired it and it shot like the corner of my ear out. And I didn't get mad. We just went back inside and started playing more video games. Like the LAN parties that we had, like do you remember the infamous picture of the guy duct taped to the ceiling?
Yes.
We don't get that shit anymore, and we will never get that shit again.
No. So like, it's not anywhere. There was a place. It was trade ' N games, trading games, was my a local game store that we had in St. Louis, where I was living in Southside St. Louis, and it was walking distance from all of our homes. I bet you it's closed now, but it had everything from collectibles and video games and had all the different consoles and all that stuff. But you go around the back room, and there was a big old space where there was 6 giant televisions and a bunch of Xboxes, and they did
Mhm.
Halo tournaments at trading games, and we would go. There was a forum online that you would burp, burp, beep, 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 connect to. People would think their computer's dying now, but you would connect to the forum, you get on there, and like they would post like, okay, we're gonna do it's a $5 buy-in or whatever, and the winning team splits it 4 ways,
Mhm.
obviously, whatever the reward is based on who was there. And we would just chill all evening. All night we're there. They have popcorn and snacks, and we're playing Halo. You're just meeting and connecting and playing
Right.
with other gamers in a way different way than we do now, of course, with our Xbox parties and the way we do things at Discord and
It's
other
so
things.
much
But man,
different now.
Right.
It
it
really
was a more
is.
organic experience.
You bring that up. I remember Joe and we had a place in Brown City called the Oasis, and it was ran by a church. That fucking kept that place. That kept so many kids out of trouble. I remember I'd play Joe and fucking Halo all the time up there, or we'd play golf. And Joe pretty much ran that area up there. I remember that. But we don't get that shit anymore. Like the hangout spots of hanging out with your friends and stuff like that. Like, I mean, granted, you get to know somebody a little bit better because you're literally in a phone call with somebody for 12 to 10 hours a day.
Sure,
But back then,
but
you're
it's not
sitting
like being
next
able
to
to sit next to
Yeah.
them and meet them and like be able
Yeah,
to hang
rub
out
elbows
in
playing Halo.
between a match and like you don't see that anymore. Anyway, I just wanted to at least say that
Yep.
story before we wrap up tonight.
That's a
So,
good end to the conversation.
good end of the
Thank you, sir.
conversation.
Thank you for
Halo
sharing
LAN
that.
parties.
Mhm.
So before we wrap up, we're going to open up chat to questions. If you guys have any questions, anything you guys want to tell us, anything you want to ask, it could be about the subject that we were talking about tonight, could be about anything personal. Feel free, ask questions. We'd love to answer you guys in chat. Look at those Sour Patch Kids. So please feel free to ask questions of us. We will do our best to answer. And while we're waiting for your questions, we're going to go through what's coming up on Tetrad TV this week. Wednesday is Community Spotlight Wednesday, where Penn is going to bring one of our viewers in and play some games with them live on stream. So make sure you check that out on Wednesday. Thursday is Tetrad Thursdays. Thursday night, we're all going to try to get together and play some Valorant. Try to get real sweaty in Valorant and see what happens there.
We'll only be playing about 15 minutes of it because I'm going to be playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Sure.
Maybe
Friday,
good.
I'm going to be trying out a new thing on Friday called MMO Fridays with Kneeling. And Raccoon's going to hang alongside me and ask me questions as I'm playing. So join us on
Judge him.
Friday.
She's gonna backseat game
for-
and nagging the whole time, and I want to be there for it.
I'm okay
Totally,
with it.
totally
I'm
gonna do
okay
that.
with it. So join me and Raccoon for MMO Friday here on Tetrad. Saturday, Raccoon's going to try to do Saturday game night where she plays a community game with all of you viewers. And Sunday we're going to I keep saying this every week, but we're going to do a rerun this week. We're going to rerun this episode on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. So that's 8 o'clock Eastern time. So for all of you East Coasters wanting to watch this, Tetrad TV, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. And anyway, we'll do that. How's that for you
And then
guys?
Grenade
So-
on Sunday, right?
and then
Yeah, no, well,
Grenade,
hold on,
Grenade's got something
hold on.
special next month that he's going to be doing.
So I'm going to give a little bit of lead in, but I'm not going to give you much.
Okay.
So we're getting rid of the Gentleman Challenge. That's why Clink's taking over. But there's a couple known names around our community that I'm going to be doing something with, and one new guy. But with that being said, it's a bi-weekly thing. But on the opposite weeks, what we're going to try to be doing is grabbing all of our communities together and playing a huge game. So we're going to let out the week ahead or a couple weeks ahead on what we're going to be playing, what we're going to be doing, and we want to get everybody involved. We don't want sidelines, anything like that. We just want everybody to have fun, have a good time, get to know everybody in the community. So that way, even though if you want to get somebody together and play Elite Dangerous with, like, say, Pen Fighter, and when you guys don't have any friends to play with it, you got Pen, you can learn stuff from him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys still ever play tabletop games and even card games like Magic the Gathering. You know, I've been thinking about getting back into Magic.
So
Kind of.
me and my real life friends that I grew up with, whenever we get together, we either play like Pokemon or have a Magic tournament between each other, and I own every single copy and expansion of Settlers of Catan, Ticket to Ride, and whenever I'm hanging out with friends, I do play tabletop games, and it's very fun.
I do too. I play Legendary is a really good deck builder that's really fun to play with friends. We have the Firefly one and the Legendary Marvel. The Marvel one's dope because you can team up against a villain and you're kind of playing against each other too, so you can get the most points. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. It's got all the characters, Captain Marvel and Iron Man and all that stuff, Black Panther. It's pretty dope. So we play that one. And Magic though, I want to get back to that grenade. Magic the Gathering, I really keep trying to get into. I used to actually play that competitively on my stream. I played ranked and all that kind of
Freaking
good
white
stuff.
deck,
But
man.
I played black white is what I was using. I was using vampires and wrecking people. But the point is, it's become this giant money grab from Wizards. It's so hard to stay in it now because like Friday Night Magic anymore is just going out just to spend money because you have to play up because they'll ban. Where it got really bad was back at M12, right? Magic 12 when that set came out. I found out that my Barony Vampires were banned because I didn't have the one from the latest set. I had the ones from M11, right? And it's like it doesn't matter. Same cards, same stats, different art, same flavor text, but the art was different, and that's it. And I had M12 instead of M11, but I couldn't bring my Barony Vampires. I literally had to go fish and buy a bunch of packs, right, to get back into Magic. So that's kind of chased me away from Magic the Gathering, to be honest. I love that game. I love to play it. I'm extremely good at it, and not to brag. But I've been playing it since like 1995, right? So of course I'm good at it.
What are
But
you
How about you,
thinking,
Raccoon?
Joe?
Oh God, I play Codenames, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic a little bit. I'm not good at it at all. I suck. D&D, Shadowrun, Pathfinder, Cards Against Humanities. I play tabletop games, whether it's D&D or something else, every single Wednesday of my life.
and
And
chess.
I play D&D as well, but I do it online because all my friends that I play that with were scattered across the country. But still counts as a tabletop game, right?
I am
Yo,
very lucky.
Speaking of which, Clink here, he's been playing D&D for how long?
2 years.
How long was your last campaign?
2 years.
What happened to it?
TPK.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
Okay, so we were in the Aether plane, and we were fighting a beholder, and the beholder got the best of us, and we all got death raid. No death saves, just dead. So we all got disintegrated, and so now the next campaign that we're doing, this just happened on Wednesday. I have it in the highlights on my stream if you want to see us get TPK'd and the aftermath and the consequences of us failing our mission because we all died. And so now the next campaign takes place. It's a homebrew campaign 500 years in the future, resulting of the consequences that happened from us failing our mission.
That's amazing. Oh,
So-
hell yeah.
We all died
Yeah.
to a beholder's lair
Oh.
actions and got death raid. All of us. All 5 of us. It was the most sad day. Neelink the Brown has officially passed away.
Why?
No.
So, anyway, TPK, you can watch it on my stream. It's a very sad day.
And Gypsy, is that what that is? Gypsy Star? Yeah.
Stare.
So earlier, Stare, whatever, same thing. No, it's not. You brought up earlier 24 and another one. I want to tell you
Lost.
something about that. Lost. So Lost has the worst ending I've ever seen in anything. But
One of them
with 24, I cannot see that show or hear the name of that show without getting a hangover migraine. When I was in the army, anybody who knows the main character, he would go, "Damn it," right? And then we would sit there if we couldn't go out that weekend or we were stuck in and we all were watching 24. We'd have to sit there, like 20 of us would be watching 24 on a small screen TV in a barracks room. And you hear him say, "Damn it," we'd all take a shot. By the end of the show, normally we were drunk. So he found out that soldiers were doing this. I forgot the main character's name in real life.
Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer.
As a character.
So
right.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland found out that soldiers were doing this, and because he's a big soldier guy, right? So he's, instead of just going, damn it, in about season 3, he started going, damn it, damn it, damn it. And I remember the first time we heard that, we were all like, oh, pointing at each other, taking shots. And by the end of the episode, like we did it like 3 times. We're like, dude, we can't hang with Jack Bauer, man. He's too tough.
He's too tough.
But yes, in regards to Lost in 24, yes, that was coming out every week. It was like right at the age of DVRs just starting to come out. TiVo was a brand new thing. And so, yeah, you could record it, but it was still watch it every week and talk about it with all of your friends or your social group, you know?
It
like
doesn't binge watch very well. Have you tried?
I have. I have binge watched 24 all the way through, and I loved it. Every second of it.
It doesn't binge watch very well. Like, I kind of like, it's a little bit of overload.
It is a lot of overload.
They weren't designed for that.
And the cliffhanger every week.
Every week is a cliffhanger,
I know.
right? And it's like, I'm going to wait until I can pee and grab a beer and get back, and then I'm going to get the answer to this cliffhanger.
Guy went through so much shit in one day. Like, he couldn't even take it and sit down and go to the bathroom without a bomb blowing up. Fuck, man, I would hate to be that guy.
But carrying that tension throughout the week is what that was written for, because it's really not that big of a reveal every week, right? It's kind of a letdown at the start of every episode, because it's like, oh, that's it. Okay, we're on to the next cliffhanger is what you're gearing up towards. So binging it for me was not a great experience.
I enjoyed it. It was fun to binge. Granted, that was like 5 years ago that I binged it, but still, I thoroughly enjoyed binging it every night while I was falling asleep, listening to Jack Bauer's sulky, sultry voice.
Do we have any other questions for the Tetrad? Well, you guys got us. All 4 of us are here together. We're looking awesome.
Drum roll. We'll take one more question if you guys got it. If not, well, we'll start doing our wrap up, and if another question gets asked, we'll go into it. Join us all throughout the week for plenty of programming here on Tetrad TV. We love being here and love doing this podcast each and every Monday at 8 p.m. The 4 writers of the Nerdpocalypse here each and every week, and we're excited to see where this channel is going to go and all the programming and everything we're going to bring to you guys. So thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our Discord, our community on there. The link is down below. We've got our weekly episodes up on YouTube, on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So go check those out, all of our social media stuff. We're having a great time here. So
I got a name for your raid.
So we
at
the end of every show, we raid a channel, and we try to keep it random, somebody we don't know, and all of you viewers get to go hang out with somebody. So our raid tonight is drum roll. What's our raid tonight, Pen?
Tricky Live. He was in our chat earlier today. Here on Tetrad.
Tricky, yes, do it. Hell yeah.
Tricky Live. So enjoy Tricky. That's funny. I was helping out Tricky earlier, set up his stream.
Tricky is Tricky's very special and near and dear to my heart. He's been one of my longest and oldest friends. And I'm glad you picked Tricky, Pen Fighter. Thank you for that.
I saw him in my followers. He's trying to make affiliates, so instead of a random person, I thought, let's go help Tricky out.
He's definitely somebody to listen to. Get him talking, and he will talk forever. Don't over frustrate him, though.
Tricky Live, he's a good guy. Go check him out. Say hi from the Tetrad. And we'll see all of you here on the Tetrad TV as well as our personal channels. And we'll see you next Monday here for episode 9, The Evolution of Comics. So thanks all for joining. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
All right.